All right. All right. There we go. We're here. We'll just give it a couple minutes. Just give it a second. Let everybody get past the commercials on YouTube. So, like you said, it's all YouTube guys to start off with. And then once you get past the commercials, I guess Facebook guys kick in. So, you ready for this? Tank? Can I call you Tank?
Yeah.
Just Tank's easier. We'll wait. There we go. Now we're getting some viewers. It'll pop up right there here in a second. So, all right, guys. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this puppy started. It is Tuesday night. Welcome to the show at Fish North, Georgia. We are calling this. What did we call it, Josh? What was the name? Hammers. The Hammer Time Part Deux. Can you spell Part Deux? I spelled it wrong earlier, Josh. It's Louisianan or Cajun. Rob just looks at me. Rob looks at me and shakes his head. Like, I don't know. But anyway, guys, listen, we appreciate you spending your Tuesday night with us. And we hope to take the next couple of hours, give you a lot of information, have some good talk. Any of you guys that got questions, definitely put it in the comments. One thing, let's go ahead and get straight away. If you are a Facebook user, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and fill out a couple things, whatever it is. Enter your name. It will let you know when you pop up. It will tell us who we are talking to right there. So, again, we appreciate you guys doing that. Also, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Let's talk about the social media stuff that we do here at Fish North Georgia. We got the Fish North Georgia page and the Fish North Georgia group. We want you to join both of those, of course. You can see us on YouTube at Fish North Georgia. We want you to subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of any future content. We also got Twitter at fishnorthga.com. I'm in charge of that, actually, so I want you to join that. I put a post out earlier today. You can also find us on Instagram at Fish North Georgia. There's a whole lot going on at Fish North Georgia and TikTok, guys. Listen, if you haven't, you need to follow us on TikTok. If you haven't seen the TikTok that Josh put out today with the winners from Rocky Mountain this past Saturday, you've missed something. He is really talented with that. Did you watch it? Are you on TikTok, Rob?
No. But I think you ought to get Jesse hooked up on that.
No, I don't. I do not.
On TikTok. Listen, apparently TikTok. That's the good thing. So
hey, I'm trying to hire Josh to do Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, we're gonna work that. So absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely think you need to. My wife and them watch that. They laugh about TikTok.
My wife's all over the TikTok thing. Hey, watching from Memphis, Tennessee tonight, boss man. Hey, listen, buddy, we appreciate you you joining us and giving us a little bit of your time. That's awesome. And what's the link again, Kevin Bolton? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. StreamYard.com/Facebook is the one that I've talked about. Raymond Wood, don't go anywhere. We might hit Clark Hill in just a little bit. Scroll back up if you don't mind. Paul Conan, or it's Coonan. I always say your name wrong. Coonan, right?
That's what I told you last week.
Yep.
Yeah, but listen, I suck. So Paul Coonan is guys, what you don't know is Josh normally runs the stuff behind. Keep on going, buddy. Josh normally runs the stuff behind the scenes, but Paul is up here training. So when Josh is out of town, Josh is out of town on film assignments. Nothing is going to stop. Paul is going to be able to keep us. That's the one I want right there. Paul's going to be able to keep us going. And so I appreciate Paul and all that he is doing. Pull that up right there, that comment right there. Let's give Cooper McDonald a shout out. I won the school tournament this weekend. Y'all should have me on there. Well, we might can do that. And I believe that was Pickens County. And if I'm not mistaken, you fished with Wyatt Richards. If I'm correct on this, I want to make sure. I know they had the big sack. In fact, I think they caught 16 fish, and the next team only caught 4. So they were nailing it.
Awesome.
And
Chad's boy.
That is Chad Richards' boy. So you know Chad?
He done hardwood for me for 20 years.
That's right. So that's Chad's boy. They're in middle school. So no, I'm just joking. I ain't giving my secrets. That's okay, kid. I know what you were stowing. Just let me know. I won't tell anybody. So, again, the electric leech is fired. I love you guys. Make sure, seriously, post in the comment section because half the show is really about you guys. So if you got questions and stuff like that, comments, definitely put it out there. I'm going to cover a little bit about the electric elites here, Charlie Dick, in a second. And again, let's get rid of some business matters here. We want you to absolutely join us in thanking State Farm and the Cassidy Agency for making this episode possible. Chase Epley, you see the sign in the background, 678-779-7269. Listen, I know of many guys that have called and wanted to talk to him about this personal articles policy. I've even talked to it with you, Jesse. We
Yeah.
kind of talked about it, and it makes a lot of sense. I know I had somebody call me just yesterday wanting his number. So, listen, a lot of guys are checking into this. You need to do that. $75 a year for up to $7,000 in personal articles. That covers your rods, stuff like that. And again, think about this. Your warranties on your rods, hey, they're great for the companies, but they only cover it if you break the rod. So if you drop the rod overboard, it gets stolen like that, that's not covered. So this personal article, it's been a long day, personal article policy will absolutely cover you. So right there, you see it on the thing. Way to go, Paul, right there. Cassidy Agency, State Farm, Chase Apley, 678-779-7269. You can get them at Chase at Cassidy State Farm or SF.com. That's for State Farm. And you can contact Cassidy State Farm, I guess, or you can go look at their website, www.cassidysf.com. So anyway, definitely want to thank State Farm for their contribution to help make this possible. So got a couple of things. We did that. I want to go ahead and thank the Georgia Mountain Food Bank for allowing us to help them with our food drive. That they put a barrel in here. Guys, you've already filled up one barrel. They came Friday night and they took it. I think just from – huh? No, what's the comment? Where are we at? Eric Thurman. 630 pounds of food you guys donated last week alone. All right, guys, listen, I'm just going to say it like it is. That's kick-ass. All right, that is doing what you're supposed to do. We've already had guys started bringing back others. I know our church at Etowah is going to start sending some food. I want to keep this going. All right, that's one thing we can do. Anytime you give to another human being, don't listen. Don't sit there and analyze it. Just give out of the kindness of your heart. It makes you a better person. It will make your day better if you can feed someone. Also, and Rebecca's going to kill me. I'm supposed to have set this up, but there's also a way that you can give money to it. $1 will provide 5 meals. So I'm going to get that set up as best I can. But again, thank you, everyone. And listen, if you come to the shop, bring a couple cans. I don't care if it's a can of raviolis and that's it. If you think I ain't got a lot, hey, one can is better than nothing. We'll get it to the people that need to get it. And I appreciate it. And I love you guys so much for all that you do. 630 pounds.
Raviolis are good.
Raviolis are fantastic.
Has to be better than pork brains you ate.
Pork brains?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, pork brains are pretty good now.
I'd eat cold raviolis. I'm not eating them.
I will. You know what? Cold raviolis are good. I can eat them for lunch like that. So, anyway, guys, keep it going in the comments. We're gonna check in on you as best I can. Let me try to get to a couple other things first. I did the food bank. I want to go ahead and announce our guests for tonight. All right, this is part 2 of what we're continuing from last Thursday. So, to my left, I have Rob Young, whom I've known for a long time. You want to go ahead and give a shout out to your house, your building stuff. What is it?
Mountain Oak Quality Homes.
Mountain Oak Quality Homes. If you want a house built and you want it done right, go to Rob. Are you that busy?
Yeah, we're pretty busy.
I know you are.
I think everybody's crazy.
He is.
Yeah, we're blessed to be busy, but I mean, it's busy, and then we got the weather we're dealing with right now. But I mean, it's good. I mean, if you're not busy right now, there's something wrong with you.
Right. So there you go. So that's awesome. Part 2 of the big dogs, Blake. Guys, if you want to know where's Blake been, Blake has not been fired. Okay. Blake was sick last Thursday. This week tonight we had a chance to get my next guest, and I'll introduce him here in a second on and with these guys. So we just went with the 3. And then Blake's mother is having surgery on Thursday. We'll keep her in our thoughts. I can't talk tonight.
And Danny wanted to read the song tonight. So
I am going to read the song, but
he wanted to do that one more week, Blake.
That's right. So, but we want to keep your mom in our thoughts and prayers there. So, like I said, it's been a long day, but he will not be. But he will be returning the following Tuesday. Okay, so Blake will be back. He's not fired.
She had it today.
Huh? Who had it today? Oh, she had it today. Oh, so he's got his kid. She won't be able to take care of it. I got a lot going on this noodle. But anyway, Blake, we're thinking about your mama. I know you came up here earlier a little bit. And we appreciate you. So Blake's not fired. He is coming back. So he is at home, and he's going to be commenting today. So anyway, so we got Rob now across from me at an angle right here. I got a young man. How old are you?
21.
21. All right. So for a kid of 21, your reputation has kind of preceded you. All right. So Dalton Tankersley. I said that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Dalton is from where?
Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Blue Ridge, Georgia. And what do you do in your spare time? What kind of fishing do you all do?
I do a lot more bass fishing, but I actually guide trout fishing in North Georgia.
And who do you guide with?
Fly fish Blue Ridge.
Fly fishing Blue Ridge.
Yep.
So he's you got to be multi-talented to do many different species. I've kind of heard that you were pretty good with the bass. So I'm
try to
glad
be anyway.
You try to be. Well,
Try to
that's
be.
all right. You listen. You're in some good company right here. So, but anyway, we thank you for making the drive down, and we're going to introduce you to the Fish North Georgia World and another Blue Ridge boy. That's right. He's a stick, boys. Listen out there. So you listen. You're a stick. So anyway, everybody's talking good about you right now. So that's good. Absolutely awesome. And then again in the star chair over here, we got National Professional Fishing League participant Jesse Millsaps. So that sound about right?
That's right.
All right, so good, man. Listen, we appreciate you. I had a lot of good comments from the other night. A lot of guys got a lot of questions they say for you. We'll see if they come on tonight, and we will get to that. So tonight I didn't plan on anything specific other than a couple things. We're just going to talk and go with what you guys have what you want to know. Like right here, we got a question from Alan Pruitt. We'll go ahead and get started with this. What is a good way / lure to catch largemouth in 49-degree water? And let me preface this by saying this. Listen, I'm going to talk a little bit about the elites, and I've got an announcement on the electric only side in a little bit. But we had a tournament at Rocky Mountain Saturday, and we were finding 45, 46-degree water all day.
Yeah,
and we wet the bed. The people that were on it. Anybody that's seen Josh's TikTok will know that they were on it. But we did not do a very good job. So we'll start with you, Jesse. Right now, you get on a lake. It's a largemouth lake, 49-degree water. What are you going to throw at them?
That all depends on water clarity and, what type of reservoir you're fishing. I mean, if you're fishing a pond or you're fishing a lake, they're totally different. But
right.
A jig is always a good place to go.
A jig.
I mean, you can always catch fish on a jig in cold water.
Gotcha. And Tyler Bird, I see you up there. I said, Jay. Tyler drives by every so often. We hear the horn honk from his big truck. So
big Peterbilt.
Tyler Bird is Peterbilt. So there you go, Tyler. We appreciate you. Just want to let you know. So he's talking about Lanier. So right now he's on Lake Lanier. So let's concentrate that. You're on a big lake, and you're chasing largemouth in 49-degree water.
You're still looking at a jig. I mean, they're still going to bite a jig around some rocks, around some shallow docks, believe it or not. A lot of largemouth in the cold water go shallow. People don't fish shallow enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
Then A-rig, of course. A-rig seems like it's come on strong the last couple of years. A lot of big fish and a lot of fish getting caught on A-rig.
You have a favorite A-rig?
No. I mean,
well,
they're all pretty
question.
Similar to me.
No.
I mean, no, I honestly,
but I hate it.
Honestly,
I
don't throw one a lot. I do throw one some.
Is it legal in your league?
No, not in our league. It's not.
So it is
in the BFL. It is. We can have 5 wires, 5 spinners, 5 baits, but only 3 can have a hook. So,
gotcha. Okay, so Andrew, let's say Facebook user right there.
Flat's not a crankbait if you get back in that dirty water.
That's what a lot of people would say. I just want to tell you guys that are a Facebook user, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you can enter your name so that when your comment comes up, it gives me your name or at least your handle, so that I'm not seeing Facebook user and I can at least address you as such. All right, kid. 49-degree water, Lake Lanier, you going? What are you chasing largemouth with?
I was pretty much asking the same thing in the BFL, but I couldn't figure it out. But I'd probably have to go with the same thing. I mean, I'm an A-rig is gonna.
You're an A-rig guy.
Yeah, jerk bait, things like that. I'm more of a power fisherman.
Okay, listen, jerk bait. I suck at a jerk bait because I'm not patient enough.
Me too.
I'm not patient enough to jerk that thing 2 or 3 times and let it sit and go fix a sandwich. Now, how about you? I mean, that's what a lot of guys do. They sit forever.
When I started making myself do it, I'd throw it on a spinning rod and throw it out there and set my rod down after I jerked it a couple times, watch my line, pick it back up a minute later, pop it a couple more times, set your rod down. Because if I got it in my hand, I want to keep working it.
You're very patient. Who
was that catching them yesterday on that cold water down in Eufaula?
On jerk bait?
Alton Jones.
Hot Defoe was busting.
He was literally taking that bait and he'd reel it, stop, twitch it, let it sit. And I mean, I'm like you. It's hard for me to do
I couldn't do that.
I throw mine on a spinning rod with high vis line. I'll just watch the line and sit still.
There's no way I could do that. So Tyler Burt, not a ton of people throw the A-rig on Lanier. It's very overlooked there. I like a jig and Texas rig. absolutely that. And Chris Taylor, hey, listen, buddy, I know you're going through some problems. Got cut on a little bit, so we hope your health is restored and that you have a good prognosis and you are back into action very, very soon. So, Rob, how about you? 49-degree water. You're going for largemouth on Lake Lanier.
Well, I said I throw that flat-sided crankbait.
You just flat-sided crankbait. That's it.
I mean, no, it ain't just it, but I mean, it's just I'd throw,
It's
know,
tough to beat
jig.
right now.
It's hard to
Big
beat right now.
thing.
That's why them boys are going in the back of them pockets with those DT6, DT10s,
Yeah.
flat-sided. That new what is that new Rapala bait? It's that
Mhm.
flat-sided
You
odd
can't
bait.
find anywhere.
Rich can't find anywhere. I'll
What's
try
that,
to
what's
find
that
it.
one that Berkeley makes a Fritz
Fritz,
side?
yeah.
It's-
Fritz side is the one that I've
Fritz
heard of.
side.
Yeah.
They're catching them on
There's
it.
just a lot more variables than just 49-degree water.
Mhm.
I mean,
Color, high.
If the sun's
I
out,
think-
if the sun's
I
out
think
and the
if
wind's
they're-
blowing, I'm going to the main lake.
I mean,
Get
if
some
you're
rocks.
fishing Lanier too, another thing people overlook is water level.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're fishing rising water, of course the fish are going to go up. But if you're fishing falling water, that's what's made it so difficult the last couple times at Lanier for spot fishing. I think they're pulling the water down and it's causing the fish to go out and suspend, which makes them really, really tough to catch. So a lot of variables go in there. You can't just go off water temperature.
There you go. All right. So listen, there's some wisdom right there.
I mean, you can go out and if you want. I mean, 40 this time of the year. I mean, middle of the ditch, Kitech. I mean,
That's one of my favorite ways to catch them.
I mean, you can catch.
It's a Kitech.
Yeah.
All
Won
right.
a lot of money with one of them.
Well, absolutely. So, Saturday, the elites went up to Rocky Mountain. It's a largemouth lake.
Right.
It's got shallow, it's got deep, it's got a little bit of everything. But those that caught them, for the most part, I'm pretty sure caught them on A-rigs, got in the spots. But a lot of us, when we threw the bucket at them, and it was, 45, 46, Josh, right in there?
Yeah.
And just cold, miserable, and the fish seemingly were on lockdown. So I'm going to ask this question to you. In a toughest situation, you can't get a bite, and you're on a largemouth lake.
Mhm.
All right, 45, 46-degree water. You can go anywhere from shallow to, say, 35, 40 feet. What are you going to try at the beginning just to start, as a feeler bait? We'll go around right
to
here.
start, I would look for a reaction bite to start with. I mean, your first couple hours, a reaction bite. I still, even though it's 45, 49-degree water, there's a reaction bite the first couple hours, no matter what you're doing, whether
Right.
it be a swim bait, a jerk bait, or a spinner bait, or whatever it is. And then as the sun rises and stuff like that, I think the fish kind of go under. They're not as active a lot of times. So then you switch over to your throwing a shaky head and your jigs and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. How about you there, Tank?
What was the question again?
What's the question? He got caught looking
I'm
at the
watching
comments.
everything.
He's reading
Well, I
comments.
tell you what, I'll let you read this. We'll do this. Let's go up a little bit. Mike Smith right there. Mike Smith. Put Mike's up there. He's just getting into bass fishing for the first time in years. What's a good rod and reel combo to pick up, and what bait do I have to get with it? Now, I mean there's a lot of variables in that.
Yeah.
But let's say he's going to go to like Alatoona or Carter's or a lake like that. What would you suggest?
If I
for
just
him?
started, I mean, you can go in depth with brand and stuff like that, but it's going to be a spinning rod with a shaky head. I mean, you're going to catch fish
Wherever
any
you go.
lake in the country. I mean, to me, that's
You got to put what's your shaky head setup?
I'm a G Loomis man.
Okay.
I have a 610 GLX. It's a mag medium. It's not super flimsy, but it still has enough tip to let you not break the line and stuff like that. They're
Right.
pretty light line. So
Okay, and particular length
on the rod, 610.
610. Is that
Yeah.
what you said? Okay, I missed that. How about you, Rob?
You can go up to 7.3 too.
Yeah,
So
I got
guys-
two. I mean, and I fish more with one than I do the other. I fish with a 7.1 NRX G Loomis medium action. I fish with in between 8 and 12 pound fluorocarbon.
Right.
On the spinning reel, my son's fishes pretty much 95% with a spinning reel, and we throw it on a Conquest 7.6 with I think the 20 pound smackdown braid with a 7 pound sniper leader on it.
That's
7
hard to
pound.
beat.
So
What about you?
I've recently just started using the Abu Garcia stuff. So
Right.
I mean, $129. That new Veritas they got out. I'm telling you, it is phenomenal.
Jordan
I'm
Lee's
shocked.
using them right now that you follow.
You know, when I got them, I was really kind of, checking them out, because the past Veritasuses, they were a little heavy and stuff like that. But the new PLXs they got out, they're really lightweight. They're real sensitive. I mean, $129 rod, you can't beat them.
Okay. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Now, he also asked to the bait. So, shaky head, you were.
I throw a 3/16 Yamagatsu skip gap, or I throw a custom homemade one.
But you still shaky head.
On the shaky head, yeah.
Okay, what about you?
I mean, if you're just getting into it, you can't go wrong with a shaky head. I mean, there's fish, you're going to catch fish all year long on a shaky head.
Year round, deep, shallow.
Right, I got you.
Largemouth spots, everything.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Smallmouth. We throw them up north with it.
All right, so Eric Payne, let's see, he's talking about, does FX have a rod like the SJR 6400? I'm not really familiar with the 6400 SJR. Any of you guys?
Chris Taylor needs to answer that one.
Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the SJ 400 is, 6400. But if I do, we can exactly, we can pair it like that. So again, shaky head. Were you shaky head?
Yeah, I mean, if you're just getting into it, you can't go wrong with the shaky head. That or the small crankbait. They're simple. That's
and you
two
can
of the
throw
easiest.
you can throw it on that same rod.
You can.
Spin rod. You might have to change your leader, but
That's the best thing to me about a shaky head spinning rod. You can throw a lot of things.
A lot of different variables. So it's multi-purpose.
On it. Once you step up, you can take that same reel and rod and throw a small Kitech on it as well.
I throw the Kitech, a jig, a fluke,
right?
Topwater. I throw everything on spin. I mean, I throw it all on a spin rod.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So that makes what about Halo rods, Joseph? I'm not very familiar about Halo. Any of you guys have any experience with Halo?
I've actually had some Halos. It's to each its own on a rod. I mean,
exactly.
I just think it's whatever you feel comfortable with. I mean, I've owned a lot of different rods, and some rods are heavier than others. I think it's just what you feel better with is what you're better off using. So.
I got you. So, all right. So we pretty much answered that, guys. So again, we're going to keep going. Hey, Tatum Pruitt. So Rob, say hey to Tatum.
Oh, you need to go back to school.
She is at school. She's up at Barry with all them girls.
Homework, doesn't she?
She doesn't tell Tatum she needs to do her homework.
Tatum, you need to do your homework.
There you go, Tatum. It's from Rob himself. So you need to be paying attention. You got a couple more months and you'll be graduated. You don't need to be spending your Tuesday night watching a bunch of, chunky guys talk about fishing.
3-foot Snoopy rod. I bet we could do that.
I want to see Jesse throw that on the
listen, there you go, Tyler. Tell her, hey, a 3-foot Snoopy rod. Wow. All right. So how about this, Michael?
How many fish have been caught off a 3-foot Snoopy rod?
I will tell you this: that the best I ever had catfishing was on a Zebco rod that was similar to a Snoopy rod that my dad had. He bought us from Brim Fishing. This is back when I was younger. But I ended up at the end of the day, the rod was trashed. It was broke. Just catching catfish out of a pond. So that was awesome. There was Michael Temples. Here's a serious question: what about line type and colors? When and what to use? Now that's a big question. Let's say about right now. And Michael likes to fish. I tell you, Michael likes to fish a lot of these smaller reservoirs too.
Okay.
They got largemouth and spots.
Yeah.
So let's say, have you ever fished Latham?
No.
Okay, so Latham fishes. Part of it fishes like Lanier. It's got your long points and your spots and all. You can catch them in 30 foot of water. They'll suspend over an 80-foot bottom, and then you can go into a cove and it's trash. It's stuff like that. Yeah. It's just trash. So I mean, what would you do?
Like if I was flipping and stuff like that, I always go 15, 17 pound fluorocarbon just so I can feel the bait. If I'm fishing out in open water, if I'm throwing topwater or something, I throw it on braid. A lot of times. And then if I'm reeling spinner bait, crankbait, stuff like that, line size varies on how deep you want the lure to run. So if you're wanting if you're throwing say a shad wrap and you throw it on 8-pound test, you're going to get the max depth out of it. If you're throwing like a fritz side, which is hard to throw, I mean, obviously you want to be able to get the depth out of it. So the lighter the line, the deeper it's going to go. But then it's just drag set from there. But
okay,
like most of the time, 10 to 12 pound test line is a really good choice in line for just fishing all around.
All around. How about you, Tank? You don't know what the question is again. You
I know. I mean,
he's over here reading. Like, what the hell, Danny? I put you on spot.
No, it's gonna be similar. Like Jesse said, I'm big on throwing fluorocarbon,
right?
Just because it's strong, doesn't have a lot of stretch, especially setting the hook. Like he said, topwater, I'm gonna usually throw braid. Very, very seldomly I'll throw mono.
Right.
I get on a day where I feel like I'm losing some fish. they're not really getting the bait good, I'll throw it on mono just so it stretches a little bit. But like I said, flipping and stuff, 15 to 20 pound, depending on the clarity of the water. Throwing a shaky head out there, 8 to 10, stuff like that.
I do throw a shaky head on 12 on there.
Do you?
Yeah, I still get a lot of bites on a rough.
What about you there, Robster?
I've thrown it. I mean, it's about like they said. It just really depends on what bait you're throwing, and the depth you're trying to get at. Shaky heads. I mean, I throwed it for the last 3 years on 12 pound and did not vary from it. My son started throwing it on that spinning rod, and he switched to. He used to throw an 8 pound and a brand name, and for whatever reason it started breaking on him, and he didn't have any reasons for it. And somebody told me to try the Sunline, and we tried that 7. He got that 7 pound. I mean, that stuff's tough as not. It will. I mean, it's stronger than some 10 pound. I don't know what's in it, but I've seen him catch some stuff and lay into them, and just really depends on what you're throwing. I mean, but like they said, they throw braid on their top water. If I'm at Lanier, I'm probably throwing Berkeley big game, just probably 15 pound big game.
I got a good question about that here in a second.
Now, like I told y'all, in the last year, Jesse's brought me out of Lanier, and I'm not just a Lanier guy. He's trying to take me, force me to go fish different places, and which is what I need to be doing. Because I mean, I've done got what I call a Lanier funk. That's the only place I've ever go, and that's the only place I know how to fish. And I've got a big learning curve. I mean, it's a big learning curve. I know what to do. I've watched videos. I've read till I can't read anymore on Facebook or on, magazines and articles on the internet or whatever. And, I got a long ways to go. I know what to throw. The problem is when you get to that point, do you pick it up and throw it?
Absolutely. Okay. So I have been waiting for a good question to go take a pee break.
Already?
Listen, I started early. All right. Scroll on up. Scroll on up if you don't mind there. There was a question right here, so I'm going to let you guys start with this. Jeff Davidson right there. He says, what type of knot do you like to use? I tie Jimmy Houston knot. So here's the question, so I make sure y'all are still talking before I get back. I want your knot if you're tying straight up to a particular bait, and what knot you use to go fluoro to braid. Okay, so we'll go from you to you to you, and you got it, and that'll give me a long enough time. Josh, you went to the bathroom up there?
We're going to have to put you a bathroom around the corner.
We need a bathroom down here. This is killing me.
Man, we have to get you a bucket.
I know it. Tim White actually said, hey, it'd be, listen, y'all don't want me peeing in that bucket. So right there. So anyway, go ahead with that. We'll start with you.
Okay. So on the braid to fluorocarbon on my spinning rods, I tie the double uni knot. I mean, it is a little more complicated, but I've just had good success with it. And 99% of the time I tie the Palomar knot. I know a lot of guys don't tie it to braid, but I feel like if you wet it enough, it's going to hold.
Yeah. I throw a loop knot on the top water. Do y'all throw a loop knot on top water?
No.
I don't.
Where it just kind of stays?
I usually just put a snap on.
Well, let's not do that. Like a lot of the Berkey baits come with snaps now. So you just put that snap on there, and you can that thing just. But I mean, I do.
My buzz bait usually don't require that.
Yeah, that's all you throw on top water. But
no, I do not. That's not true.
I throw. I started since they're making these eyes so small on the rods now, and you go that braid to fluorocarbon. The FG knot is a little bit smaller, and the way you tie it, if you tie it correctly, when it comes back through the eyes. The tag end can't catch your eyes, and it allows you to cast further. But the FG, it's kind of harder. It's real hard to tie out in the lake. It's not the easiest to tie out in the lake. So I tie the double uni out in the lake, and I think that's what Austin throws most of the time. But I've been studying up on all those knots, but.
There's a couple more that you can throw. I mean, that's just what works for me. I mean, I'm so used to tying them. It makes it fast for me.
Another good important thing, people that's not used to fluorocarbon. I mean, I'm sure everybody is, but some of these new guys are coming on asking these questions. The fluorocarbon, you really got to wet it before you cinch it down. If you start cinching down, you burn it. And Gerald Swindle, he ties a total different knot. If you want to learn a different knot, I don't tie it. I think it does work the way he talks about it, but it's all about that. If you just really got to wet it really good. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, with that knot, any knot with that fluorocarbon, if you don't wet it, it's burnt.
Yeah. I've seen somebody put the Alberto. That's what I tie on a braid to fluoro. Yeah. They're all really pretty similar. It takes few more steps. It's a little more complicated. I don't have as much time, I'll do the double uni.
Yeah.
It catches a little bit, like you're saying. You can hear it coming through the eyes. But as far as just straight fluoro, a lot of the times I just tie just a normal fisherman's knot. Spin it 7 or 8 times, put it through, loop it back. It's quick and easy. Like you said, you got to wet it pretty good so it doesn't burn. But
I think the double uni too is. I think if you twist it, if you loop it too many times, that makes it bigger. Every time you loop it, it makes it that much bigger.
What's your standard 6?
6.
Yeah.
I use it.
I got depending on line size. If I'm throwing 6-pound line, it gets pretty small. You got to go up to like 8, 10 loops.
Yeah.
I don't do that hardly anymore. Lost too many fish on 6-pound.
I don't even know what the hell y'all talking about. But there you go. I was over there with Josh.
That's what you left us with.
Listen, I was over there talking to Josh. I'm like, it's pretty awesome that I can get up and go to the bathroom and the show just keeps going on. Y'all just keep talking and we're just sitting. Josh and I were sitting over there talking while y'all were doing a fantastic job. So that's awesome. So where are we at now?
We're talking about knots.
Knots, Jimmy Houston knot. What is the Jimmy Houston knot?
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of the Jimmy Houston knot, but I've heard about, a lot of the ones they're talking about.
Has to be the simple knot that you're talking about.
So a uni knot on fluoro's best.
So. Let's YouTube it.
You look it up right there. So while you're looking up, I want to make an announcement. So can I do that, Rob? Is this a good time for you?
It's your show.
It's not my show. Well, it is. All right. So I want to think a couple things. Listen, throughout this show, I'm going to be saying several different things. But first of all, right now, I want to take a second and thank everyone who is getting involved with the Fishing for Warriors, fundraiser that we're doing. The goal is $20,000. I can tell you in a week, we've already raised 5. We're close to 5. And that's not even counting what Justin Spees, a friend of ours on the group page, is raising with his tournament trail. Guys, for that, we're selling raffle tickets for $1. All right, we have them in the store. You can contact Justin. I think there's several different places that you can do it. But that you ought to see the prize pack that this kid has gotten up over the last week. It's 3 or 4 charter trips. He's gotten some product from Hammond's, Buford Bait and Tackle, just all kinds of stuff. Last time I checked, it was over $3,000, and by now it's probably close to $4,000 worth of prizes that he's doing. And that's in March. All right, I will get the dates closer to it, but you can buy those raffle tickets. So if you come to the store, they're $1 a piece. And I don't know exactly how many winners there will be, but I can tell you right now, let's see, 4,000 plus in raffle prizes now. So Justin is watching. And listen, all of this is going to Fishing for Warriors, all right? And so it's real easy for me to joke around and tell you that if we raise $20,000, I'm going to tattoo Fish North Georgia's logo on Justin's butt, Aaron Brooks. I'm going to tattoo it on his butt.
Are you doing that?
No, I'm not personally. You think I should do that? Like personally tattoo it?
It could look like one of them.
I ain't crazy about seeing the man's butt, but if you got me a needle in my hand, I'll do it. But he's gonna get a Fish North Georgia logo tattooed on his backside if we raise $20,000.
Colin and Brody could do that. They tattooed there.
Prison tat.
Yeah, prison tat.
Would they spell it correctly though?
Probably not.
Could they not spell Georgia correctly?
No.
Well, anyway, regardless, listen, that's one of the benefits. We're going to shave his mullet again. I love shaving mullets because I think it's the ugliest hairdo in the history of the world, even though I did have one in high school. That was high school. Nobody thinks straight. The brain doesn't fully develop until they're 25, according to doctors.
I've tried to look this knot up and my phone.
Are you still looking it up?
I can't get the phone out.
You got to get on the Wi-Fi, man. Don't ask me because it's like, if I tell you what it is, everybody in the world will be stealing their Wi-Fi right now, so I can't do that. Josh is upstairs. He's probably up there smoking a cigar, something like that. He's there. Oh, Josh is there.
Colin says he has no tats, Rob.
Colin has no tats. Listen.
No, I didn't say he had him. I said he would. He. I know.
But Colin can't spell. We know Colin.
I know. Colin can draw on that. He did that one time.
So anyway, regardless, Fishing for Warriors. If we raise $20,000,
I think it was a hint.
I'm going to tattoo Fish North Georgia. Have it tattooed on Aaron Brooks's backside. I even said that I would get the Fishing for Warriors tattoo. I think I'd like to get it on this right arm right here and start working back out and look kind of buff and everything like that. So I think it'd be a really cool tattoo. We'll do that. We're going to shave his mullet. But again, I wanted to talk to you.
Look at my son.
Huh? What do you say? I have a tattoo of a wolf howling at the moon on my butt. Yeah, Austin, I bet you do. All right, I bet you do. So here's another thing, though. Listen, guys, we're definitely going to do that. But
did Colin do that for you?
Yeah, get Colin to do it. Business up front, party in the back. Absolutely. Here's the cool thing, though. And this is a little story I wanted to share. Every dollar counts, okay? I got a letter in the mail up here at the shop today from from James, Florida. And he came. He's an older gentleman that came to the store the other day. Really cool individual. Sent me a check today, made out fishing for warriors, and then a letter saying, hey, listen, he's glad that we're bringing it up to the forefront. He's got another group that's going to do that. It was a check $1 million? No, but it don't matter because every penny counts, and every one of them is just as important to me as the next one. So if you guys can get involved in either with Species raffle in his tournament, there's a kayak tournament. All right, for all you kayak guys, all right, listen, there's no excuse right there. I know you guys are a different breed in and amongst yourselves. Kayak guys are special. And I mean that in a good way. You guys are a really tight-knit group of community. Hey, that Paul is looking at me from behind the screen. He's a kayak guy. Paul, I love you. I'm not saying it bad. All right, so definitely. Guys, hey, come by the shop and buy a raffle ticket. All right, let's sell a couple thousand raffle tickets and let's really blow this out because I really want to put Justin's butt on this live camera. Would you come, Rob? Would you come and do the honors of pulling his pants down and showing his backside?
You ain't got enough money, Danny.
How much is enough? How much? Don't challenge me. Don't challenge me,
dude. I am not the one you need to talk about pulling man's pants down.
No, just on the backside. Just on the backside, Rob. Don't give me that.
Go
garbage.
back to answer this.
All right, what's the question? Jonathan Farmer. Well, okay, but anyway, guys, support Fishing for Warriors and help us out. When you go to a body of water, how do y'all break the water down to help you establish where you think the high percentage areas are? Rob, I'm gonna let you start with that.
I ain't been to that many lakes to break down. I'll go to Lanier. Start with him.
Well, let's start with Tank then. If you ain't gonna, how about you, Tank?
I mean, it all.
Because you fish BFLs too.
Yeah.
Rob, you fish too. So I mean, you know what you're talking about. Come on, you start. Give us
the first thing I'm gonna do is I mean, like anybody with the technology we have now, you go and you try to find either last year and kind of see where the fish were. I mean, you should know by the water temperature this time at the time of year, pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, summertime, fall, whatever, and the water temperature, of course. I mean, the water temperature is everything. I mean, I ain't gonna say everything, but it's got a lot to
do with it.
And then, you just go from there and then you try to figure out your strength that you want to fish. I mean, just because, I'm going to go look for, I like to fish rock. And so if the lake's got rock and it's that time of year, I'm going to be going to look for it. And whether I'm going to have to pull it out and fish in, the 30 foot or if I'm going to go fish it up on in the dirt. So, that's just what I do. But
how about you, Tank?
I think it's big, like he's saying, on time of year. In the winter, it all does with water temperature, where the bait's at, if it's rained, like he's saying, the water level, all that has a play into it. In the summer, I'm big on fishing clear water. That's just me.
Okay.
I get a little upset when I see muddy water in the summer.
Just don't like it.
I'm just not a big fan of fishing it in the summer. Now in the wintertime, of course it gets warmer, quicker.
Can I interject? Why?
Do what?
Explain.
He wants to know why. He wants to know
don't you
why.
like mud in the summer?
There you go.
I
Get nail on that question there, buddy.
It's just it bothers me for some reason.
Why does it bother you?
I don't know.
Son?
I think
what part about it bothers you? Just
I love the question right here. There you go.
I don't know. I just like fishing clear water in the summer. I guess because most of the time I like spot fishing.
All right.
And I know that
when you say spot fishing, you're talking about spotted bass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking specific. We're not talking about sight fishing.
No,
we're talking about spots.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure somebody out there will
I've noticed in the past, when you get a big rain in the summer and the main lake gets dirty, it just it messes with the spots a little bit. And I think that probably has to do because they do go shallower,
right?
In that dirty water. But as far as breaking down a piece, like the water temperature, the clarity, time of year, like when we go to Eufaula, I know when the water comes up, you better be shallow, or you're going to get beat. Water comes down, you better go out there and look offshore structure, ledges, timber, brush, stuff like that. And that has a lot of the same things to do with lakes around here. But that's what I do. Water temperature, time of year, everything like that has to do with
it. Jesse, how about you?
Yeah, time of year is a big thing. Understand pre-spawn, post-spawn, summer feeding patterns, winter feeding patterns.
So how about this? You just mentioned like summer feeding patterns, winter feeding patterns, all that stuff. How is somebody who is just an absolute greenhorn or rookie to get into fishing? What's the best way for them to learn all that stuff?
Internet.
Yeah.
Okay, seriously. I mean, that's a very
watching videos.
Watching
YouTube videos is going to teach you a lot.
I mean,
it's really things it took me years to learn. these kids are learning now at Dalton. They're learning in a year.
Right.
I mean, it's just like me. I mean, I had no idea on a lot of this stuff. I mean, when I started fishing, I got my first boat in 2005 and started fishing, and I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, pond fishing and fishing in that big old boat, that's just two different things. And
right.
I had no idea. And I mean, I couldn't, I mean, I was tickled to death back in 2005 if I went on a Wednesday night and I got 7 pounds. I mean, it was taking 19 pounds to win, but, I was just glad if I could get me a limit. I had no idea what I was doing. But I mean, when Austin and them decided to get back in, got in the high school fishing and we got back in it and we got serious in it, and I had gave up my racing and stuff. And I just always, if I'm going to do something, I always like to do it as best I can. And the internet, I mean, I would be sitting there with an iPad and reading Wired to Fish articles written by these pros, and they would have, and they do it every day today. I mean, every day I get a Wired to Fish, they pop up a new article or whatever, and you read that and they talk about that pro might talk about jerkbait fishing in the springtime or in the wintertime, whatever. And he just talks about and breaks it all down for you. The best times of the year to use that bait, how the retrieves, different times of the year for the retrieves and stuff like that. And I mean, I had no idea until I started really searching the internet. And I know that's some people say that's cheating, but I mean, it's there, so go figure it out.
It's a tool.
Everybody can access it.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
I think one of the biggest things that helped me as a young angler is, for one, having people like Jesse and other people to look up to, ask questions to.
I mean,
fishing high school, fishing as a co-angler, all that stuff has helped phenomenally.
I mean, for instance, for us, when I got back in, before I really started fishing, again, Austin and his high school partners were fishing, and Daryl Strayhorn, I mean, they were fishing mainly at Lanier, and Daryl went over and explained to us what you were supposed to be doing on Lanier, and he's one of the best over there. And with that being said, he taught me what you were doing and why you were doing it, and pretty much said, now you're on your own, go find your own stuff. And that's what we've done. We went off and started fishing exactly what he showed us, but it's just stuff that we went out and tried to duplicate it. And so if you find something good at one lake that time of year, you remember it. And next year you'll go back and you'll try to find more places during that time of the year. I mean, that's just what I've done. That's what I've done.
I know some pros back on that. I know some pros that have logs. They log every day they're on the water.
I do that in my notes.
They do. They log water temperature, what the barometric pressure was,
Gotcha.
what the weather forecast is. I mean, they log all of it.
Okay. That's a lot to do. That's a lot of work involved.
I mean, but if you can look back on times and you can go back 3 years from now and say you go back to those same conditions. I mean, fish are going to stay pretty close to the same.
Right. Okay.
There was a reason I asked Dalton about the muddy water in the summertime.
And why is that?
Because a lot of times in the summertime, current's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Current in the summertime. It doesn't matter if the water is clear. It doesn't matter if the water is dirty. I mean, it matters a lot about current. Current puts oxygen in the water, which makes the fish more active. So even if you're in the summertime, don't be afraid of dirty water. Just find. I always thought to find running water,
something that's moving,
something that's moving, and they'll be on these big reservoirs. You'll find times that they pull water, or certain periods of times. I'm gonna use the instance when I had the high school kids when they won the state championship down at Eufaula, and Spencer and Owen contested this. We fished shallow early because there was that morning feeding period. And after that, I actually made them sit on a hump the rest of the day. It was 95 degrees and hot. But those fish, they had the water. When they started pulling water, there was a 30 to 45-minute window that those fish would fire. And if you weren't there, you missed that bite.
Right.
And when they started pulling water, that's when you could whack them.
I've got you.
They got like 25 pounds or something.
Oh, yeah. It was
I heard Nathan Ragsdale said something to me about, I think it was Oconee, that when they started actually pulling, this wasn't largemouth. He's talking about hybrids.
Yeah.
That when the current started going at the dam or whatever, the hybrids would just absolutely come alive. He said it was like unbelievable how many hybrids you could catch, but it had to be the current, had to be moving.
Yes.
It's only doing that. If you could scroll up for me there, Paul, if you don't mind, there was a couple of comments I wanted to get to. Keep on going there, buddy. I don't want to miss it. I'll find it. Oh, yeah, I know what it was. One of them, Stephen Bardet said, time on the water. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're not putting the time on the water, It ain't gonna happen. And I can attest to this because Josh and I tried to fish an elite tournament this past Saturday with no pre-fishing, no fishing at all. We've been trying to get the store. If you're not on the water, you're behind the 8 ball automatically if you're not spending time on the water. How much time do you spend on the water during your tournament season?
It depends on what tournament it is. I mean, I look at it realistically. I used to fish a lot more than probably what I do now. But I mean, as the years have gone on, I think that the payout, you got to really look at what you're fishing, how much time you want to put into it, and how much the payout is on each event, especially tournament fishing. Right. If you're just fun fishing, I mean, that's totally different. But if you're tournament fishing, you really need to look at those things because, like, I'm going to use the BFL, for instance, and versus some of the other tournaments. Okay. A BFL, if you go spend a week at a tournament in a BFL, and you practice 4 to 5 days, if you don't finish in the top 3, chances are you're going to lose money. And I'm saying the top 3. They may pay back. I mean, I read a post and there were some guys talking about it on Facebook earlier after the BFL tournament over, talking about how they paid back 60-something places and people they didn't even win their entry fee back. Right. So I've turned around and kind of looked at this as, what are my chances of, am I going to put that much time into those events? I personally am not. I have spent a couple of days at some of them. I think the best one I did last year, I didn't even pre-fish for. I showed up and went fishing. But I think sometimes that you just look into what you want to get out of it. If you want to get a lot out of that event and you're fishing something like that, put a lot of time into it. I got you. Real quick, it's to each person.
Facebook user right there that posted at 8:44 p.m. Undercurrents or Topwater Currents. Listen again, if you'll go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can enter your name or at least your screen handle so we can at least call you something different than Facebook user. But I'm not exactly sure where he's going with that.
I know what he's talking about. So that could be both. Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Put it back up there for a second there, Paul. Undercurrents or Topwater Currents.
So undercurrents, you're looking at like on a main reservoir when they start pulling from the dam. You're looking at underwater currents. They're pulling the main river, so you're out on the main river channel. So those are what I'm assuming he's calling undercurrents. Right. So yes, those are good on the big reservoirs. So kind of pay attention to that in the summertime. But the topwater currents, you're talking more river fishing, creek fishing. Yeah, you're going to see that water moving on the top. So you're feeling that down, and those are just as equally as good. So I mean, I've seen some even in the back of creeks. I've been so far up a creek my boat can float. But anytime that water's moving in the summertime, it's good.
Well, let me ask you, what do you concentrate on mostly, undercurrent or topwater current? What would you concentrate on
in the summertime?
Anytime.
To me, that's more important in the
Dalton.
summertime.
I'll call you Dalton. I like Tank though.
Tank's to me, it's more important in the summertime. Yeah. As far as current wise. Yeah. I mean, if you take a cold water bass in the wintertime, he wants to get out of current. He's not going to sit out there in that current and just swim. He ain't got enough energy to.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in the summertime, that's when the current really plays a lot more. It plays on other times too, but I mean, anytime they're pulling waters makes fish bite better.
You want to add on to that?
I mean, that's pretty much how it is. There's one other time that I've noticed is a pretty unique thing that happens on Lake Carter's. When that place floods, like it done it last year in February, those fish will get just as shallow back where that fresh water is coming in as they can. For whatever reason, I don't know. The water's still cold, but I'm talking like Carter's last year in the trees, like 20 foot high. You could throw up in the woods where usually there's not even water, and there would be fish up there because I guess the water's cleaner. It's coming in. But like he said, your currents mostly in the summer, especially like fishing the Tennessee River or Eufaula and stuff like that. They're going to get offshore on the current in the summertime when it's hot, or up in a creek, when the water's colder. So basically pretty much agreeing with Jesse on that.
Okay. Kyle and Austin's quit fishing with me most of the time too. You can start fishing with me.
There you go. Hey, let me ask you this. Let's jump on, and you don't fish smaller lakes like Latham and Hickory Log and all that, but current's got to play just as much of a factor in a smaller lake as it does in a larger lake.
I think it would.
Would you agree?
Same way, I would think.
The same way?
I would think. I mean, I would think they're going to learn.
Even though if it's a smaller creek going through and not a main river.
I don't think it matters. I mean,
it's still moving water.
Still moving water. Okay. All right. So we're about halfway through. Just a little short. Michael, I'll get with you here in just a second. I've got a couple of things. We're getting ready to have our poetic reading of the night. Yeah, I'm going to do it because Blake's not here. So we're going to do the poetic reading of the night. Again, we'll give you a True Grit prize pack and maybe another product from a customer or anything. So I'm going to read here in a second, and you guys get ready with your Google because I know that's what you're doing. I also wanted to make this announcement real quick before we're doing that. Fish North Georgia is now, we're glad to announce for you electric only anglers that not only are we an Elko dealership, which we have been, I'm getting Elko items. There you go. Pop that puppy, baby.
It's just Coca-Cola.
It's just a Coke. It sounds good, though. We're getting Elko items and stuff like put on our website so you can go and browse all the Elko products. But as of this morning, we are now an official Epropulsion dealer. We are one of the few, maybe the only, as of right now. Epropulsion is another brand of electric outboards and
more affordable or less affordable, about the same.
A little less on this, a little different. The Elko is more, if you look at it, the Elko is more catered to the traditional style of motor. It looks like an electric outboard. I will say the Epropulsion is a little bit different technology, and it looks more not up to date, but a little more space. How do you want to say it? Like,
are they motors brushless? They got brushes.
These are brushless.
All of them, or even Elko?
Elko, I don't think so, but I know that the Epropulsion are. Now
I need to build us one of these boats, Jesse.
So again tonight, so as of tomorrow, I'll start putting this stuff up on the up on our site. But if you're interested, right? If you're interested in any Epropulsion product, we're not only going to be able to sell them, we're going to stock them, and we're going to stock enough material and products here to be an Epropulsion service center here at Fish North Georgia. So that is a pretty good thing. So Charlie Dick, I know that you are a Epropulsion guy. Again, love both of them. We want to be able to service everybody and give everybody what they want, but we are glad to be able to say that Epropulsion is now part of the Fish North Georgia family. And again, we'll start getting that stuff out. If you're interested in Epropulsion and what they can do, you can contact me directly at 678-283-6700, or you can message me during at the store. Come by and ask questions again. And so, like I said, we'll have all the parts there too. But it's another thing that we are looking forward to doing here at Fish North Georgia as we grow. And again, build one, Rob. We're looking for more members in 2022 there, Chris Gayton. So listen, you big lake guys need to get on here and you need to get you an electric
if I build
rig.
one, it'll have to be at least what y'all have over there. I cannot do it in the little 16-footers.
Oh, no, yeah, you can.
We'd turn over. No.
Well, no, listen.
No.
Listen, a lot of these guys
Have
got
you
boats.
looked on that damn picture right there, dude? I'm a pretty big boy.
You're healthy. Just healthy though. I won't say that, but you're not that big. You're healthy.
I've seen Jesse set the hook. I don't know that you want to be in a
6'1",
little boat.
6'2", and actually, as you hit 50, you kind of shrink. I was
trying to say,
absolutely. Listen, Joey. Hey, listen. If you are interested, or anybody that's interested again in the Epropulsion or an Elko, just call us up. We'll talk to you. There's a lot of options, a lot of different things, and I'm learning on the fly. I'm gonna be straight up with you. This is something that's been in the works here for about a month or two behind the scenes, but finally we closed the deal today, and I think it's going to be a good thing. It's at least it's like being able to offer somebody. You go in, you can offer them the best of both worlds and one end or the other, whichever
one for Yamaha Mercury.
Exactly, and again, and I'm going to throw another little wrinkle in there. I will say that Pure Watercraft and I have talked a little bit too. So for those guys that know what that is, they're probably going to go, whoa, but I'll leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
They make one of them fat boy wide boats that we won't tip over in?
Yeah, man.
Like what?
You could get into like a 60-inch wide boat. 60 foot.
we fish on we fish on 9.
You're a big boy. What is your boat right now? What are you fishing? 21 foot?
No, I fish 20 foot.
20 foot what? What is your typical bass boat? 5 foot, 6 foot?
Oh no, it's 96 inches.
Chris Gayton's boat. Chris, please post.
My boat's like I got a landing deck.
Rob, you need to come check out my boat. The only thing I'm missing is the electric outboard. But listen, an 18 foot, 60 inch wide fisher. And I will tell you this, and Tim White's got another nice boat like that. I'll put comfort and size of their boats against any bass boat out there. Now, granted, they're not going to run 70 miles an hour to where they're going. But as far as being able to move around, being able to fish comfortably, storage, all that. Some of these guys have got some bougie boats. I guess that's what my daughter would say. They're bougie, man.
Hey, you got to fish comfortable.
Do I now?
Who's that in the Express?
Somebody had an Express the other day. They showed it. I don't know who it was.
Nice.
It was a straight up bass boat with an electric Elko on it.
That's what I want.
No, dude, I don't even know which one of those members of the elite it was. But it was
Have
like,
all lithiums in it.
No, listen, we got lithium. But here's the thing. Epropulsion is allowing me to sell their lithium batteries. So now I do have the lithium. So
Are
we
you going
can
to
definitely
put them in your boat to test them out?
if I get them to give them to me. Steve, who was that?
Can we get on the pro staff?
Steve Garment. On my pro staff?
Can me and Jesse get on the pro staff of whatever the motors in are? We're going to need a motor.
I
can't afford a motor. We afford a boat. I can't afford a motor.
I tell you what if I sell you one?
You got to have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Listen
Yeah,
up,
we
but you
can't
can't
have
go
one,
wrong. You can't go wrong with,
No, I
with
just
either
want
one.
one in big 40s.
No, we got to have 2.
I don't even know what the hell you are
220.
talking about. I've
We're going
lost.
250s. They go in 50s. Hey, right?
Elko does
50s.
make it 50,
Oh, we got to have 2.
but it's a 96 volt system.
Joey Upton has an Express. What size is that thing?
Joe, I tell you what, it was 18, 19 foot. Easy. It was a bass boat with an Elko on the back of it. I kid you not. When they pulled up at Rocky and they were going, Josh and I were setting up the weigh-in, and I was like, my God, look at that thing. I mean, it was sweet, wasn't it? It was awesome. I mean, he looked like a professional
Had
last
the
going
seat
out
deck
by
on
me. Huh?
Had the sea deck and all that on it.
Dude, it was everything. It was like a showroom. Now, I might be overemphasizing it, but so Charlie Dick, so they got the lithiums. And again, like, see, right now,
How many lithiums you have in the run?
now Charlie's probably running 48 volt. He might have a 48 volt pack. So again, we have that too. We have the 48 volt pack, and I'm working on another one. Again, Facebook user right there. Scroll on up a little bit, please, there, if you don't mind.
I know who that is.
You know who it is?
Yeah, just read it.
I need Dalton. Where'd it go? I need Dalton to purchase those lithiums for his dad's boat. Was that you? Your dad?
That's probably my dad.
What's your dad's name?
His name's Larry Tankersley.
Larry Tankersley. Hey, I'm glad that you spent your Tuesday evening like you got nothing better to do than to watch the Fish North Georgia show, but we appreciate you. We promise that your son will get home safe. Don't be scared of being Pickens County. All right. We know people here. So yeah, so EP50, if you go Elko, it will get you on plane and you're gonna be in the 20s with a lithium battery. You'll be in 20 miles. Listen, in 20 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour in the electric only world is like running 100 something. It's like a bullet or something, whatever it is in y'all's world. I mean, that's absolutely screaming. Now, the pure watercraft got into the 20s too, and it was a 96 volt system. But it's all about weight right now. And we're going off topic a little bit. But we got the 2 Elkos, but we're
not getting off topic. We're talking about electric.
Right, we got 4 fat ladies worth of batteries in our boat.
Yeah, I see them in there. There's a lot.
This is a public show, and you're discriminating.
I'm not discriminating. They're fat ladies.
Right.
There's some big girls. There's some big. Listen, ain't no discrimination. I like a big girl.
Josh, you got a shovel. He's digging himself on.
I'm not. Listen, there ain't nothing wrong with a little weight on a woman. I don't know why everybody's like, oh, we can't. It's all right. You just got to ride it for the full 8, and that's all you got to do. But anyway, regardless, it's you
went, Dalton.
You ride for the full 8.
You see how
You got your hat. You got your hat.
Thing went south.
You got your hat. You just
Hey, Danny, put your hat back on.
I'll be 49 years old in 3 weeks. You just do what you can do. I ain't 20 no more. How old do you Tank?
21.
Your daddy ain't gonna let you come back after this episode, is he? Okay, just making sure. But anyway, regardless, we got a lot of weight in the boat. So if you can get those lithiums and cut off, let's say you're running 1,200 pounds or 1,100 pounds.
He said you only had to run 224s.
Who are we talking about? Where?
Charlie.
He answered right there. He answered.
Yeah, Charlie's smarter than I am.
Know what I'm saying? He ran.
And he's got a hell of a beard too.
224s. I know that a 36 volt lithium for our bass boats. a single 36 pack cuts out about 200 pounds.
Oh yeah.
For 3 batteries.
Absolutely.
So if y'all having to run that many batteries, that's a lot of weight.
Look at Jeremiah's comment. 4 fat ladies is a pretty accurate measurement of weight. I see, seriously. That's how they do it in Pickens County here. All right, we got a couple big girls.
They weigh 76 pounds a piece.
Facebook user, y'all are awesome. Whoever you are that says y'all are awesome, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and put your name in it so we can definitely give you a shout. Now, listen, I said all that again. We're getting to this point too. Now's the time for the poetic reading of the night. Now, Robbie, you're not going to read this.
You ain't got no.
Oh, my computer died and I had it printed out. Why will you not read this, Rob?
I am not reading that.
Well, I talked for a second while 132 pounds altogether. We're talking lithium.
I think you need to read it like you read it to Rob earlier.
I am going to read it like I read it to Rob right
You
here.
got to look at him too.
You gotta
that
give
way.
him the
All right, so here we go. All right. So guys, here it is. Now here's the song.
I had to distance myself.
You had
a little
distance
bit.
yourself. Here's the song. Now the winner of this, whoever wins this tonight, I'm gonna tie you. I will do you tournament grade 5 True Grit jigs. I will tie them myself. So if they're great, they're from Danny. If they really stink, they're from Danny. But again, when you do a custom jig, I tell everybody every jig has its own character. Everybody wants a mass-produced jig that floats the same way every time. Don't work that way. But I'll tie you 5 jigs if you get this. All right. So are you ready, Rob? Rob, turn around and look at me, son.
I am. You go ahead. Then.
Rob, we go back a long
I got to pay the cut.
Rob, turn around and look at me. All right, here we go. I need the artist and the song. All right, artist and the song. Rob, look at me, please. Rob, come on. You ready? Here we go.
No,
I'm
not looking at you.
Rob,
This
Don't
Donnie.
turn your back to me
Danny.
while I'm reading this. to you.
Donnie, Danny.
You call me Donnie?
Yeah, you got.
What are we doing?
You got it printed out.
I have it right here. I don't have it printed out. Why? I want to read it to Rob, though.
He's wanting to read it to me.
Oh, you like it? So I want to read it to you because I think.
I need to know who it is. So that
Yeah. Oh, so now you know who will win.
Hey,
No, it's not whipping post.
The faster you get that, the faster we get talking about the serious stuff.
This is serious. It's me and you, babe. Huh? Listen, Rob, there ain't no shame in this. Turn around. Look at me, babe. All right. Just look at me. Here we go. Here's the song. I need the song and the artist. All right, you ready? Rob, you ready? Yeah. I saw sparks fly from the corner of my eye. And when I turned, it was love at first sight. I said, please excuse me. I didn't catch your name. Oh, it'd be a shame not to see you again. And just when I thought she was coming to my door, she whispered sweet and brought me to the floor. Now she said, Taylor Swift, Sparks Fly. You're getting close, though. So I'm going to go ahead and read the chorus because this is even better. There we go. Lauren Rock, who got it? 17 by Winger. Did they both come in at the same time? Huh? Go, where were we at? Look at that. Who was the first one? Jacob Fleming. 17 by Winger. There's never been, listen.
Who is Winger?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. You know what it is? Jesse?
No.
Dalton?
No.
What the hell, John? You don't know who Winger is?
Austin knows all that. Dalton, you know what that? You ever heard of that?
We're talking 80s rock. Winger. She's
80s
only
rock is Def Leppard, Molly Crew.
17.
I don't know what day you know.
Daddy says she's too young, but there's never been. It's like between that and that daggum sing that the song the Boston people sing, "Sweet Caroline." It's like the two songs about a guy talking about a slightly underage girl. She's only 17. Rob, come on. I know you know the song. She's only 17.
Sorry,
Daddy
Dan.
says she's too young, but she's old enough for me. Come on, Rob. I know you know it. Don't act like you don't know it.
I don't. I've never.
Oh my goodness.
So Jacob Fleming won 5 tied jigs.
Jacob Fleming, yeah, and that's bad. I wanted somebody I
Hey,
didn't know
we're
to
talking
win.
about the pro grade with
Good
good
tournament grade.
Tournament
grade. These will take me with my fingers. Will take me 20 minutes a piece to tie because it takes me so long to get that copper tied around right. But anyway, Jacob, hey, look, we'll talk about it. Facebook user again. A couple of you guys go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and put your name in there because I want to know. She respected the man in that. Oh, listen to that thing. Put that up. Where was Jeremiah? She respected.
Who lost respect for me?
She respected that man in the song.
Yes,
she
thank
washed out with a new rag. There you go. I don't know, but
Chris
that's
Taylor did. I'm
Chris
sorry,
Taylor.
Chris. Some of that stuff.
how you don't know who Winger is. How'd you grow up in the 80s and not know who Winger is?
I listen to them.
Was you country?
No,
Did you
I
listen?
listen to the
If you listen to
Motley Crue, and
exactly.
Def Leppard,
Exactly.
Poison, and
And
White Snake, and all the good stuff. I might have heard this, but maybe I didn't know the name.
Winger was good, man. Seriously.
Winger.
What are we doing? Listen, Rob, quit playing with your mic. You did. Now you're young. I'm gonna give you a pass.
No.
You're 21. Jesse.
No.
Jesse.
Jesse,
what was you listening to in the 80s?
44.
What was you listening to in the 80s? How old are you?
Oh, I'm 42.
Okay, so you're still a
43.
little younger than me. What were you
Yeah, see,
listening
that's
to?
before my time.
Mm.
I was young.
Oh,
in
I'm
the
not
80s.
singing, Chris. You ain't got to worry about that.
I will give you. Listen, I will donate right now. We'll donate. Fish North Georgia donate $50 to Fish North Georgia if you will sing Winger 17.
Nope.
Come on, $50.
I am not a finger. I am not singing 17 singer, whatever. I did.
Winger.
No way.
It's
Winger.
Winger.
I am not singing that stuff, dude.
Come on, Rob.
I'm not.
Yeah, I saw sparks fly from the corner.
I'm worried about you
of
that you
my
know all
eye.
these words.
I know.
I grew up during the 80s, dude. It's Van Halen. I mean, it's all that kind of stuff. You really don't know who Winger is.
I really don't.
I don't. Dawsonville. Just sometimes y'all suck sometimes, and I'm from it. But I can't believe you don't know Winger. But anyway, who won? Who won that?
Jacob Fleming.
Jacob Fleming. All right. So, okay. So Michael Temples. Ask my question, Danny, about feeding and moon phases. I held Michael. I don't even know what the. Did you see the question?
Yes. And
So
yes,
you're actually paying attention to what they're
I
saying.
paid
Yeah.
attention to what he was
All right, Jesse, then go ahead since you guys don't find my thing funny no more. So we'll go ahead and get serious again.
So yes, the feeding times and the moon phases do affect fish movement. I think the fish pull up during the full moon the best. They definitely spawn a lot on the full moon.
That's it.
Yeah.
This time last year, a week after, well, like in the middle of 12th of March, he caught one off. They caught fish off bed.
I caught a fish off bed at Lanier last year, March the 10th. This
But
year,
this
not
year
a
ain't gonna
chance.
happen. It's 10 degrees
It's
colder.
cold. Plus the full moon was March, right around the 1st of March last year. This year we're hitting February 28th, and then to be later into March.
All right, so here's coming from a different angle when we talk about moon phases. If somebody talks to me about moon phases and fishing, I automatically go to bluegill, to the spawn.
Yeah.
So if you go full moon, if it's a warm March, you got April, May, June.
Mm-hmm.
On the full moon, the bluegill will come up to bed. So that's going to affect your bass fishing, regardless of where you're at.
Same
Yeah,
thing with
thing.
bass.
Crawfish.
Same thing as
Crawfish,
bass.
same
So
thing.
that's what I was going to say. So do bass follow the exact same thing as brim? How many times do bass kind of wave up?
They come in. No, they'll come in. They all don't go at one time.
Right.
No.
So how long do you think the
So-
spawn actually takes place
I've
across?
seen this spawn cross
3
like
months.
on Lanier. I've seen it last 2 to 3 months.
Really?
Yes.
And spots do it a little bit different than largemouth.
Not really. They're still the same.
They
might
spawn
a little
deeper.
late. They'll
Okay,
spawn
that was
deeper.
my next question. So
Not
what is the
necessarily.
difference?
That's what I
Not
did.
necessarily, but that
They-
more of the spots spawn deeper in
Yeah.
what I've seen than largemouth. Hey, you need to talk to him about this because he's way more educated than we are about it.
Okay, well you're more
On
educated.
what?
On what we're talking
Bad
about?
fishing.
Bed fishing. Well, even with bed fishing, we can get in that because that's coming up soon for at least for tournament guys. But where it should be important. But what is more important to an angler? And I'll ask all three of this. In the spawn, are you looking for what is the most important factor that you're looking for to go catch a trophy monster fish on bed, regardless of whether people think whatever? Is it the bluegills bedding? Is it the temperature? Is it the moon phase? What is Rob Young said? You know what? I know from what's going on now they're going to be on bed.
Dude, I'm just now getting it as far as far as like really bed fishing.
Right. And what have you learned? What have you learned
in
though,
the last 4 years with Jesse showing me what he shows me? I mean, you know, first of all, you're looking for a hard bottom. You're looking for, you know, the temperature, the correct temperature. Those bass are wanting to get warm, get up there, get done, be done. You know, so the weather, the moon. I mean, it's got all that stuff to do with it. But I mean, like I said, I just have really started focusing in the last 2.5 years, I guess, about learning how to really understand that. And you know, I've fast paced myself from what Jesse's took me on the boat and showed me. I've read about it, so I'm not the one to be.
It doesn't matter, but you're still.
You know what
I'm saying.
No, I know, but I mean, when I go, you're looking. You know, I'm looking right now. Water temperature is the main thing, and the time of year. I mean, we know March is. They're coming sometime in March. So,
right, so Facebook user that just posted 58 degrees. Again, hey,
let's say that.
Not necessarily.
I see what Robin said, but Facebook user, hey, go to StreamYard.com/. Facebook, so you can at least put your name out there, unless you want to remain hidden, and that's fine too. So, Tank, and we're going to get to Jesse. We're going to go around this way. What was the question I asked you? What did I ask you?
You asked me what I look for to.
What do you look for
to catch a trophy bass?
I got so entrenched. Rob wouldn't look me in the eye, and I was trying to.
You're scaring me. This looking me in the eye.
Googly eyes and getting you to talk.
Your
to me.
17 songs and googly eyes are killing me.
So, all right, Dalton. What are you looking for? What makes you go? You wake up in the morning, you go, boom, they're on the bed.
I've definitely water temperature.
Okay.
And it's got to stabilize like that.
Right.
I know that and you can't really say that a fish knows that a cold front's coming, but you know, with the pressure and stuff like that, you can. I know that a big fish, you can say a smart fish, they'll definitely wait on water level.
Right.
Like I've seen on the local lakes, you'll have a big fish spawn pretty late because they know the water level is going to come up and stay there. They're not going to leave their eggs on dry land. Water temperature probably going to be the number one thing, and that it stays the right temperature it needs to be.
Right. All right, boss man. How about you? I know you got a lot of opinions on this.
Yeah, water temperature.
Water temperature,
I used to think that was a big deal, but that's not true.
Okay, so water temperature is not true to you.
One of the biggest thing that progresses the spawn is the length of days.
Photoperiodism. Hey, listen, did you hear that big ass word right there?
Length
Photoperiodism. I learned it from deer hunting. Photoperiodism. There you go. All right, keep going.
Okay, so length of days and amount of sunshine. If you get clouds for 3 or 4 solid days, those big fish are not going to pull up.
And why do you reckon that is?
Because the sun has to heat the eggs up. A female pulls up. When you're looking for a lot of fish, a lot of people see fish up sunning and they think, oh, they're on bed. But truth be known, they're up trying to get their bodies warm. They're trying to get their warm so they can lay their eggs. They have to be so warm to actually spawn. Water temperature. I've seen them spawn in 54 degree water, so 54 to 56. So I can't say 57, 58 because I've seen it happen.
Right.
But to me, I think your day's getting longer. The full moon having a lot to do with it, and a lot of sunny days.
So it's pretty interesting. You know, you see the comments coming in here on the screen, people talking about it. Casey Blanton. Hey, Casey, I love you, buddy. Seen them spawn in 57. We had one guy say 58. You've seen it in colder.
I've seen it in 55.
You've seen it in 55. So basically, that fish, you know, what you're saying is its movements, its actions are dictated. What you think is by the amount of sunlight, the amount of the length of the day.
Days. The length of days plays a lot.
Kind of like what a buck. If we flip it over to deer hunting, a buck starts getting ready to rut when the day starts shortening, or however you want to say that. They get shorter. So
what's that big word you use?
Photoperiodism.
Okay.
Hell, I don't even know it's a word. I know it's a word. I don't know if I used it correctly.
We need to get Rob to spell that.
Rob, spell photoperiodism. Listen, I'm gonna make him talk. So makes sense because
let's go back to
Siri. That's exactly right. All right, what you want to do?
Let's go back to trophy bass because you asked about catching a trophy bass off the bed.
Did I ask about that?
You did. You mentioned it. So
listen, that's what I say. There's 800 things going on in this little beady mind of mine. But go ahead. Let's talk about that.
Trophy bass, a female bass on the bed, most of the time will not stay over 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They're done and gone. So that all depends on when you're there, what you're looking in, what sections of the lake. They pull up at different sections. Like I'm going to use Lanier, for instance. Most of the time, I've seen them pull up on the north end before the south end. Usually the south end's kind of later. But then I've seen it reverse too. So to me, early in the year, a lot of your bigger fish pull up first.
Okay, can you? Okay, still up there. So Facebook user who is refusing to give his name, and that's okay. That's okay. We're not going to say anything to you since you won't go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and put your name in. But he said the fish can actually tell the angle the sun is located. So I guess, now in a roundabout way, he's just saying the instincts of the fish kind of can.
Well, your
tell.
water's going to warm up on opposite side of the sun or quicker. So they're going to get more sun on certain sides than they are others. So they're going to spawn.
They always spawn on the south side of the pockets.
Yeah. So that Facebook user knows that he is purposely not putting his name in there. You can tell with that smiley face he's putting there. So he's someone who doesn't want to be seen. But again, we appreciate you just the same. So anyway, I think let me ask you this now. How many of y'all grew up fishing farm ponds? Are you a big lake guy pretty much through and through? You, Rob? Big lake?
I didn't start fishing until I was older. So
yeah. So how about you?
Pretty much. Just
and I'm gonna okay. Well, let me ask you this because you're a little different. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Not that you're different. You're a fine, upstanding young man. Not that I'm not saying that, but you trout fish and you guide for trout fish. How does it relate with trout? What is the difference between trout spawning and a largemouth bass?
Water clarity, height to the water.
Same time of year though.
They'll spawn. Sometimes they'll spawn twice. Usually it's spring and fall.
Oh, really?
Fall,
okay.
There's got to be the right amount of current. All that stuff factors in it because unlike a bass, it's kind of similar to a striper.
Gotcha.
A striper's eggs has to be, which that's saltwater, but has to be in some run up the river. Same thing with a trout. A trout, like on the small stream that I guide on, we actually get a lot of fish that come to us from the big river to spawn, kind of like a salmon.
Right,
they'll run up to spawn. There's more current. Water's a little colder.
Right.
It's definitely almost kind of opposite from a bass.
Okay.
So.
A couple of things. Let's see. A lot of comments. First of all, Daniel Duckett. Hey, listen, buddy. I understand completely. I don't know how to work this computer half the time, so I appreciate you guys that have challenges with technology because I am definitely one of them. If I didn't have Josh here. Good grief, I don't even know what would be happening. So he keeps me straight with that. I have read that big fish spawn earlier and later because they spawn 2 to 3 times versus the smaller fish only spawning once. What can we read about that?
I've never experienced that. I think when they lay their eggs, it takes so long for their eggs to get in. I don't
one and done.
One and done.
To me, it's one and done. You're a one and done guy. How about you now? You come from the trout world that do it possibly twice. You think bass are one and done?
Yeah.
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 I love that answer. Yeah.
That's like you see up there. He said through fall and all the way from fall through spring. And then, like he's saying, it's not opposite of bass. The time period can be the same.
Right.
But as far as, you're not going to see a bass spawn in current. Bass's eggs doesn't have to have current spawn. But I do agree. It's not totally opposite as far as time of year.
Rob, you wanna lay anything on that?
No.
Hey, can I weigh in something? Do you want to talk about the spawn?
Listen, hey, it's your show, man. You do whatever you want to do.
It's your show.
No. Listen, it's all about you guys too. And I'm not lying. It's all about you. So go ahead.
This April, March into late April, I am going to offer 10 guide trips to learn about spawning bass on Lake Lanier.
Can I have one?
Yeah. You mean 8?
What's it cost?
8 guide trips. $8.
Yeah, I get one. 2. He gets one.
Okay. So he's going to be offering 8 guide trips on Lanier.
Somebody wanting to learn more about spawning bass and how the fish act and how they respond to certain baits, I will be doing 8 guide trips.
All right, that's awesome. How can people out there get in touch with you for that?
You can just private message me on Facebook.
Jesse Millsaps.
A lot of guys don't want to know, that they've been out with somebody, but it's a technique I've learned, and it's a lot of stuff.
More to it what you got.
That's it. Now, I have honestly heard this. I've heard Rob sitting here and talk to me. We've been sitting up there in the shop upstairs when we talk about bed fishing, and he will say this, and this is honest truth. And if I'm lying, slap me. I'm telling the truth that you have said that Jesse Millsaps is one of the best, if not the best, you've ever seen at bed fishing. That he showed you things that you have never seen before that you didn't see when Jesse would say, "Hey, there's a fish on bed," and you went right by it.
Oh, there was times when he was fishing for one, I couldn't even see it.
Right.
Of course, Lanier, Daryl Strayhorn, Danny Tankersley, everybody knows that they're hammers too.
Yeah.
Jesse's, in my opinion, is one of the best around.
Right.
As well. I fished with him, so I guess that's one reason. But he's actually showed me like what you do, how you make one. Anybody can go up there and snag one. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about going up there and pitching it in there and watching the reaction. There's times he pulls up and throws one cast and says, "Let's go." Can't catch that.
I think
he'll just look straight at it.
Tell by the action of the fish. He
said it's gonna take us 2 hours to catch that fish. Let's go.
Each fish is individual. They're just like humans to me.
That's exactly
there's some
right.
of them you can pull up and you can make one cast.
That's exactly.
And some of them I've sat on for 2 hours trying to catch.
And I think too, like as far as the tournament goes, being able to go behind people. I've heard Jesse tell a couple stories. I think from one I remember, like one of the lane guys fishing a tournament. That the lane guy's boat would be sitting on the big fish, and there would be a smaller one on bed up here. And Jesse go behind them and fishing a little deeper.
Big fish, yeah.
I've watched him see fish, and I'll be honest. I'll be honest. It's all about your sunglasses, your eyes. I'm sure everybody's eyes. Some people's eyes are better than others. But we'll be going down through there, and he can see that a spot and know it's a bed before. Which I'm way better than I used to be. There's an art to it, and
right.
There's certain people that can do it, and there's several hammers around that can do it. But they're, like I said, Jesse's taught me a lot about it, and I was flat clueless about it. And when 4 years ago we fished a tournament, I want to say the spot sticker tournament, and at that time, I'd fish, but I really didn't understand it. I didn't understand what you were actually doing to get it to bite, because it's all about, it has to be hooked inside the mouth. So if you jerk it too quick, it be kicked on the outside of the mouth. It's no good. We actually caught one time. It was about 7-pounder, and Jason said, "Well, that ain't no good." Popped it out, threw it right back in, and that was just because it turned about the time it sucked it up, it let go, and when you let go, it got it on the outside, and you just throw it back. I've heard Tommy Chumley throw a 9-pounder back. It's
going to happen. If you fish from long enough, it's going to be that way.
Just to be honest.
Couple comments in the comment section. First of all, Brian Stradley, you're up a little bit, but thank you very much. Brian went to school with us back in Forsyth Central back in the old days, so I appreciate that. Glad you're watching. Every one of you that are taking time out of your evening to watch us. Josh and I appreciate you more than you absolutely know. Here's a good question, and I've heard this. It's from Eric Thurman. Is it true, and I love the way he puts this, but if you think about it, this is it. Is it true that the best way to catch a bedfish is to piss them off where they bite out of aggression?
No.
Okay, and so answer that question.
I've seen fish that people think that's the case, and I pulled up on fish, and I've seen hooks on the side of their heads. I've seen a lot of things, but a lot of times pissing a fish off, no. That's especially a big fish. That's the worst way you can catch it.
Okay, so what's the best way to catch it?
All right, that all comes on a trick.
Listen, don't tell them the best. Hold on a second. Don't tell them the best. Tell them a way that the average man, if they want to catch a bedfish, if that's what they want to do, a basic technique that will help increase their odds. How about that? I'll tell you what I do. I'm not gonna lie. Josh has seen it. I throw a daggum Ned rig in there. The turds stand up, the TRD stand up, the little crawl stand up, and they just naturally. And now, granted, I did that on light, on spinning reel, wasn't really set up, so you can get your line broke that way. And I heard a person say today earlier, I throw the net if I'm in a tournament, and I heard somebody else talk about throwing a big swim bait today, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. About throwing a big swim bait, it's a bluegill pattern that it will sink, and it will sink straight up slowly right on top of the bed.
Each individual fish reacts differently.
Okay.
So there's everybody. I'll throw a jig a lot.
Flowers and candy.
It's each individual fish. They all react differently. I've caught one. We were fishing the Hammonds this year, and I actually caught the same fish 4 times. Let me rephrase that. The first time it got off because it was behind the cable.
Right.
We hooked it, got all the way to the cable, and it come off. And I thought, So I thought, well, this fish ain't going to bite.
Right.
3 casts, 3 flips later, fish bit again, caught it, weighed it, really wasn't paying attention to the weigh, and it weighed, it looked like, I thought it was a 3.5, 3 3/4 pounder. We weighed it and it weighed 2 something. I was throwing it back and I was like, that's not right. Something's wrong with that.
Right.
And I actually caught the fish again and re-weighed it I caught it 3 straight times. And so each fish is individual. And the fish did weigh 3.5 pounds.
3.5 pounds?
Each scale, they weigh a little different when they're shaking. So I was not ready for that.
Do you guys ever use Topwater over a bedfish? I have had some luck doing that later in the year when you have had the late beds. And apparently, given to the reaction of the panel here, that's something that has been done. So, Jesse, I'll start with you.
Yes, I have.
So the answer is yes. Is there a particular technique that you want to share? If you don't want to share it, I get it.
No. There's certain things that can be done, but yes, I have caught them on Topwater over a fish on bed.
How about you?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Everyone. Yeah.
This kind of goes back to like a reaction too. I like I said, I've not done it a ton, nowhere near like Jesse, but I use it for like a search bait a lot.
Gotcha.
Because from the experiences I've had, a lot of times you'll get up on a fish before you know it's there, and then it's over. I mean, you're not going to be fishing for that fish anymore. So,
okay.
I've seen. Topwater, Austin and Colin tell you
Topwater.
They use it for a search bait, like he says. A lot of times it's not necessarily over the bed. It might be out in the pocket, just cruising at the time, and throwing your favorite bait.
Right.
A little whopper plopper.
I ain't throwing no whopper plopper. Why you got to break? We went an hour and 25 minutes without somebody saying whopper plopper. Why do you guys say whopper plopper?
That's just the way it is.
My gosh, Rob, you won't look me in the eye when I'm trying to serenade you, but you come back 30 minutes later and whopper plopper me.
He don't think a whopper plopper catches fish.
I'm not saying a whopper plopper don't catch a fish. Listen. You ain't never coming back. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I have admitted to everybody. Listen, I understand a whopper plopper catches fish. It's just a dad blasted, gimmickiest looking thing I've ever seen come across top of the water, and I ain't throwing it.
It's pretty similar to a buzzbait.
It ain't a buzzbait. Buzzbait's American made. A buzzbait's American made, man. I'm sticking American made. All right.
Chapo.
Hey,
if you don't want to call it, you don't want to be a whopper plop. You call it. You
say Chapo, Dana.
Say Chapo.
Chapo.
When you go
Chapo.
Chapo. You're not gonna stock them in the Chapos in your store.
Listen, will people buy them? I'll sell whatever they want to buy.
When you go on the bed fishing trip with Jesse, he's gonna have 4 whopper ploppers tied on. That's it.
Listen, again, I'm not saying they don't catch fish. Try it. You may like it. Listen, Sea Spa, try it. You may like it. Listen, that has been the death of many men out there that saying, try it and you may like it. That don't go with everything, buddy.
Jesse's got his boat all set up for his pro fishing tour, which has GoPros all over.
Right.
So we will have GoPros on your boat when you go throw that whopper plopper.
Jesse, will you take me fishing with a whopper plopper?
Yeah.
At some point. I still don't believe we'll catch a damn thing, but we'll go.
I wouldn't say that.
I actually, as supposed to have done this earlier. Blake's probably freaking out. And I know it's on the scroll thing, but again, I told him I would announce it. Fantasy fishing, the Fish North Georgia Fantasy Fishing League. You have to get your picks in by tomorrow. Is that right, Paul? Don't you play that thing?
Before 5
o'clock in the morning? Is it that early? Seriously?
No, not tomorrow morning, like the next morning.
So you got all day tomorrow, Wednesday, February. What's the date? I don't even know. What's the date today?
22nd, I think.
22nd, Rob. So we got. Do you play?
23rd.
Rob, you play that? Do you not? Did you enjoy your fantasy fishing experience last weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I do it. I did it before y'all ever had.
I just want to see that. That's not the question.
Yeah.
I asked if you enjoyed your fantasy fishing experience last weekend.
I do keep up with it.
Hey, I see where you're going with that. I know exactly where you're going with that.
Did you have fun with your fantasy fishing experience,
Danny?
I love you, Rob. It's so funny. Rob gets so easy.
I'm not even going to talk to you anymore.
That's okay.
I got you, Mac. I answered you.
Oh, good.
We'll get it set up.
Was there a question?
No, Mac.
Oh, Mac set you up. Mac's a good guy. Mac makes some baits. So anyway, okay. So the 25th at 6 a.m. If you play the Fish North Georgia Fantasy Fishing League, you got to have your picks in by that. So where are they fishing? Tennessee River?
Tennessee River.
I heard that it will be a cold water crankbait river system. Guys will dominate kind of weekend.
That water's cold up there. It's like 44.
River system, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
They hit.
So
if Knoxville's not even there. I mean that big cold front that came through Texas and Mississippi and Arkansas, it's laid the hammer.
I went
down.
through Nashville like 3 days ago, and there's still 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground.
Really?
Yeah, up
What are you doing
past
up there
Nashville.
for?
Long story.
He's like 21. He got love struck.
Got you out of state
Yeah,
girl.
we had to go pick up a dog. Yeah,
A dog.
yeah.
You picked up
Got a
a
little
dog.
puppy, yeah.
Listen, hey,
Hey,
whatever.
I picked up a dog in South Carolina
Yeah.
fishing one time.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Hey,
All right, listen.
Also done put David Mullins wins. All heard it here first.
David Mullins. Hey, listen, I don't know. Listen, I don't play. I'm not a fantasy guy, but I know that
Also been
Blake
playing for
loves
about
that
4 or
stuff.
5 years. I've been playing for a couple of years. He did real good.
What about the wind out of the east? Tennessee River's tough right now, too, Andrew Murphy. And then Freddie Haley says, what about the wind out of the east? Now, I'm going to assume he's talking about these tournaments coming up.
what you reading? I'm sorry, I was.
So
reading.
right up
Wind out of
there,
the
Freddie
east.
Haley, he says, what about the wind out of the east? Freddie, if you want to kind of
Wind blows out of the east to fish
Fish
by
by
the
the
least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
wind out of the east, fish by, and why is that?
I don't know. That's what I've always heard.
Is this what you've
West
always
about
heard?
the best.
West about the best.
Okay, all right. So you got any other, Farmer Almanac sayings there, Robert, we can go with?
I've always heard the South. You got to hit them in the mouth.
I mean, what?
Wind out of the
Oh, that's
south,
not
you
true.
hit him in the mouth.
I don't know. That's just all what I've always
So
heard.
listen, okay, so hold on a second. Let's go with these two sayings. Wind out of the mouth, you got to hit him in, or wind out of the
South.
south, you got to hit him in the mouth. Wind out of the east, whatever. Fish bite the least. So basically what you're saying is it's got to be a west wind or a north wind,
Southwest is pretty good.
southwest. I mean, we can get specifics, but I mean, you said that.
I
so
will say,
certain
I will
winds.
say, me and Austin won a tournament. Wind blowing hard out of the east.
If the cows are laying down, don't go fishing.
Right.
Braxton Martin.
Listen, you guys can keep putting them on in the comments, certain sayings that you've heard. Because I now the cows laying down I used in deer hunting.
I've seen
Listen,
that with
Deer
trout
hunting,
fishing.
I've heard
when you're
Austin
talking
was at a
about when
college
you're talking
tournament.
about winds and stuff, I think fronts mean more.
Yeah.
The
More
wind.
than
exactly.
Also was at a college tournament and the cows were laying down and Braxton didn't pre-fish. He said there was no sense in pre-fishing.
I've actually
Because the
seen that
cows
with
were down.
trout. That's no joke. Where I got, there's a cow pasture, and whatever it is, pressure, whatever. If the cows are laying down, the fish do not bite nowhere near as good. It has something to do with the pressure, I believe.
Okay, well listen.
I
like I said,
don't know that.
I'm not familiar with it in a deer. I mean, in a fish sense, but I am from the deer hunting world. That I would drive going hunting, and if I saw the cows laying down, I was like, this is just gonna stink. Now, maybe not always. I don't know. So
I've always found when hunting that the deer move better when the sun's rising or the moon's rising in the mornings and setting in the evenings.
So you pay attention to the solar lunar phases and all that stuff.
I'll tell you what got me to watching that, and I think he works for fishing too.
Go ahead. That's tell everybody.
If anybody's ever watched hunting shows, I'm sure you've seen Drury Outdoors. Their app that they have. For the last couple of years, we've hunted in Kentucky, and for a couple of years up there, and this past year we went to Missouri hunting. And I'm going to tell you that what they predict on deer movement is phenomenal. Those guys have it figured out
Based upon what you think is basically nature. It's
based
it's
upon the moon
and all that.
And I'm telling you, it is unreal of what you see by that app.
How do we translate that into the fishing world?
I think it's the same with fishing. I think fish, they move by the moon phases. They move when the moon's if the moon's rising or the moon's setting.
I have an app on my phone. I can't.
That
find
is
it.
Right?
It definitely goes well.
Well,
it's for fishing or hunting. It's like you said. It's about the moon phase. I mean, you don't remember? Did you not? I mean, do y'all got?
Good Lord, the Kurt Wehunt. Scoot up the Kurt Wehunt. Did you read what I read? Listen, I'm gonna read that out loud.
Awesome.
Go up a little bit to Kurt. So if sticks and pine needles are floating straight up and down, fishing will be tough as
It
nails.
kind of goes back to pressure, I think.
I
Yeah.
care about the pressure.
Okay. That's a pretty cool thing.
Hey, here's
but go back
let's
to-
go back to that. I'm gonna put a comment.
Go ahead,
there.
let's go.
My uncle talked to me about this one time. He's like somewhere, and this is what stuck with me when I was growing up. He took me fishing when we first started out. Fish are always feeding somewhere, somehow on the lake. It's
Right.
your job to figure out how.
Mhm.
If you take that mentality, no matter what the weather is, what's happening. In every tournament you
What's
fish, somebody's always going to win.
What's our say on every turn? Doesn't matter what kind of weather conditions or how bad it is. Somebody's
coming in, going to catch them. So you have to look at that.
That's why Josh and I suck, because we can't find those feeding fish. We're terrible. How about this question for the rookies? Help us there. The day the front comes, in, when exactly is the best time to fish? Day before, night before, 2 hours before, etc.
I think before the front and the day of the front.
The day of the front.
Mm-hmm.
So that change in pressure, both of y'all, you both said pretty much.
Yeah, because the day after and the day after and 2 days after is terrible usually. Not all the time. It's got a good sense of it.
How does it affect you when you're guiding? I mean, let me ask you. So do you guide on trophy streams?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of have an idea of where the big boys are laying.
Yeah, but
how does their behavior? Because I mean, you can tell me about the behavior.
Yeah, you can definitely tell. I mean, the stuff that I fish it's shallow. I mean, you can see 90% of the time you can see the fish you're fishing for.
Right.
So you're definitely going to be able to see how that fish reacts to certain things, whether they want something reactive or something. Fly fishing is just a totally different game.
Is the stream big enough to fly fish?
Yeah.
But do the fish still? Okay, so I mean, a fish is a fish is a fish is a fish.
Yeah.
So does a trout in a trophy? Let's just say you got a kick-ass big old brown trout sitting in the middle of this stream, and we get a huge front coming in. Okay, whatever. Let's just say the temperature dropped 30 degrees from one day to another. Just one of the massive ones. Does that trout react in the same way that a largemouth bass or a spotted bass does?
I think so.
In your opinion?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I've definitely noticed
and
there's
why?
times that
and why? I mean,
shut
what do
down.
they do?
They just get real lethargic. Depending now in the summer, if you get cooler weather, I think that helps just because trout are a cold water fish.
Mm-hmm.
In the winter, I've seen where if you get a warming trend, it's going to help just like with the bass. But I think they react pretty much the same. Any harsh change in conditions or weather is gonna make them react pretty close to the same as the bass.
We had a day Saturday with the elites. We went to Rocky Mountain. Okay, so we've had some really nasty, crappy weather, but we get a front coming through, and it's cold. Don't get me wrong; it was cold as all get go. Bluebird skies, high sun
after the front,
not a lot of wind. Now, those who hit them. Don't get me wrong. And there's some that had to struggle, but for the majority of us, man, we struggled.
So that goes to show back to what I said. Somehow, some way, the fish are biting.
Somewhere. You just got to be in the right spot. But I mean, my God, it was tough. So you ever had one of them days where it's about 1:30?
Yeah, about the last 6 outings.
So about listen. We
Hey, you don't think it isn't tough? I don't know if any of you guys have been watching Major League Fishing on TV the last couple of days.
And I'm going to tomorrow.
They're down at Eufaula down
right
there, and you're looking at some pro level guys. I mean, that's fished the tour for the last 10 years. I've seen some of them catch 5 fish in 2 days.
I don't feel so bad all of a sudden, Josh.
I've seen some of them catch.
You mean big fish, but like he said, the last 2 days down there, you got the top 40 in angler points in MLF. Pro Series.
They're fishing the Red Crest.
They're fishing what they call their Red Crest, which is their championship from last year's points.
Right.
And like you said, you got the top 40 of the best of that series. I mean, I'm sure there's good fishermen in a couple other Pro Series, but they got some of the best up there, the 40. Kevin Van Dam, Jordan Lee, all of them are fishing. And there's guys that fish for 2 days that caught 5 fish that might weigh 7 pounds.
There's like the 30th through 40th, a lot of those guys caught 1 and 2. Bobby Lane caught 1 fish in 2 days.
See, all of a sudden I don't feel
so
too
it don't
bad
feel so bad, does it?
Oh my goodness, we wet the bed.
All that weather came through, and it's just got them on a funk right now.
But here's what's funny. And I don't know about the lakes you fish, and maybe it is, but Rocky was one of those lakes where if it was nasty, man, it showed up. A lot of people caught some good sacks.
So let's think about that. When it's nasty, what's happening?
Well,
when it's nasty, it's cold, rainy.
Yeah,
the front's coming through.
Coming through
during the front.
That's the day of.
That's the day of. That's the day of. And so that came
this Saturday. You fished Bluebird skies.
God,
I
actually got sunburnt too.
What happened? It was
nothing.
Tough. It was tough.
Except unless you were Michael Driggers and whatever his partner's name was in our elites. Good Lord, 23 pounds. And David Haney, Michael Driggers and David Haney. It's been scrolling across the bottom. 23 was 22 something. I like to round up, make it sound bigger. So 23 pounds. It's always good. That's fishing.
Yeah.
23 pounds before 8:30 is what I heard. Okay, we blasted off at like 7:45.
That goes back into that. That goes back into that first 2 hour bite.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, and it was funny. They were not 200 yards from us.
But they were hitting that one little low ditch.
You know how somebody catches a big fish? I think his third cast they had an 8-pounder, and you always hear somebody whooping and hollering. That nothing. We were sitting there going, "No, listen." They caught all their fish, and we were like, "Them guys ain't catching nothing." I don't feel that bad. Hell, they come to the scales, they got 20-something pounds like that. So, but again, like you're saying, yeah, it was bluebird skies, and the people that were on them caught them quick. And in certain spots, I guess they were related to that structure in the bait, and then other spots were just like it was awful. So,
the fish's natural instinct is
go
to
back
feed.
up. That one guy said something about if you got on tough days, you got to trust your electronics.
going up there, right? That East Georgia kayak bass fishing.
That's true in some cases, but
if you got panoptics, that'll make you spin in circles sometimes.
That's what I'm going to say. I mean,
right.
I was sitting there looking at them 2 weeks ago, and it was like you said. I mean, I finally had to just say, I was looking at them in a ditch, and I was like, they won't bite anything I'm throwing at them. And it's time. I mean, I got to quit looking at that stuff. And you got to go. I got too many graphs on my boat. I ain't gonna sit there and lie back. I've got my stuff is dialed in. I got 4 12s.
Right.
One of them's Panoptics. The other 3 are Lowrance. I got side scan, down scan, everything you got. My side scan, I can ride by and I can sit there and look at the little white specks and sit there and count the fish. It sometimes electronics to me makes it even worse. I mean, don't get me wrong. These young guys are figuring it out. I'm kind of one of those guys that I'm an older guy, but I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. But I still think you really can get caught up in it and really just trash your day with the electronics as good as you can anything.
I agree with that. I've seen that. I want to change course just a little bit. I know we've been going basically off of people's questions, but you and I we've mentioned it, Jesse, before in talks upstairs and all. It's kind of a subject that you kind of want to touch on, and that is etiquette.
Yeah, fishing etiquette.
Fishing etiquette, especially in a tournament situation. A lot of people have it, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So I know this is something you kind of feel strongly about. You've mentioned it several times. So let's go ahead. We got plenty of time left, but let's take a few minutes and change it up so that you can have time to express what you feel about fishing and fishing etiquette, and we can get the responses.
It's mainly, I know some high school anglers on here earlier.
Right.
And me taking my son and a couple other guys from Pickens County, that's one of the things I always try to teach them is fishing etiquette. Now, have I been in the past when I was younger? Yes, I probably did do some things I shouldn't have done.
Right. We all do.
I take
Lord knows I forgive me. Thank you, Jesus. That. Yes.
But in the high school kids coming up, fishing etiquette is really getting thrown out.
So what are they doing?
We've been fishing and these boaters are pulled right up beside you. I mean, they'll pull right in front of you and sit down and start fishing. I've seen cutting people off, just running right in front of them, and just not teaching their kids the right way. Teach your kids the right way how to fish. Be adequate on the water. Even boat running. I mean, these boats are dangerous. Both of my boys, my younger son fishes. He's fished all the way through high school. The main thing I preach with him is the safety of his boat. These things are getting faster, so these kids, I mean, really be respectful of your boat. Be respectful of people around you while you're fishing.
So it just starts with respect.
Respect is a lot, correct. There's a lot of high school anglers these days in it, and I'm saying it from the high school anglers. It not only goes from high school, it does go up through all the tournament trails.
Right. But
we can all enjoy the sport. Tournament fishing is getting it's growing every year. So just do things the right way. If you do things the right way, your time will come. So be respectful to other boaters.
I agree with that. And I think that goes, you can start with, every level of boating, any kind of boating, whether you're kayak fishing, electric only, big lake bass fishing and all that there should never have to be a rule put in a bass club that you got to have a 50-foot buffer between it. You shouldn't have to put that rule in. It should be automatically known. Hey, if you can throw it and hit that other boat, you're probably too close. unless you and that boat have communicated and said,
Correct. There's times I've pulled right up. I mean, I'll ask, hey, do you mind if I go through?
right.
Do you mind if and I've had guys say, no, I'd rather you not. I want you to stop and, go around or whatever. But
Okay.
then I've had times where, some people, they just run right beside you. I'll use this. I was at Cherokee Lakes fishing the BFL regional up there, and I was fishing. There was a blow through, and it was big enough it was probably, I don't know, 100 feet wide. Well, I was fishing part of it, and there was another boat on the other side of me. I could cast into his boat. Well, we had mutual respect that we were both throwing in front
Right.
of us. And we're both sitting there and co-anglers in the back. There's a boat coming on plane running 50, 60 miles an hour down the lake and could go around the island. Didn't choose to go around the island. He split me and the other boat.
Really?
I could have knocked the guy in the head with my rod when he come through by. And, I went to Thermit Director afterwards. I was like, this is insane. This is, and, that's what you don't teach the kids this, because it's very dangerous of what it is. So I think it starts with a high school level going out.
And it goes on into college.
It goes on into college.
It goes up, college is pretty bad because, high school, it's the dads doing it because the dads.
Because you have to have a captain.
The dad's the driver. The kids may say, hey, take me over there, but the dad does it. Then you get into college, and my son fished 2 years in college, and Jesse's did. And the biggest thing about, Austin would call me and say, man, you ain't gonna believe what happened, today. And he'd tell me, like, basically what Jesse's saying is you're sitting there going, he said, boat split us. He said, Colin could have reached over and touched the one boat that split me in another boat. And you could sit there and touch, and that's just, you're running 70 mile an hour on these bass boats. And and it's dangerous. And it's not just the college kids, it's the older stuff. And I'm guilty. Sometime in my life, I've done something stupid too, but like Jesse and them, y'all brought it up, and it's just, it's something we want every one of these kids to get out there and fish and enjoy it. I love it. I enjoy watching somebody like Dalton or my son or other kids that I know, and even kids I don't know. I enjoy watching these young guys come out here and do good, And that's another thing is the jealousy has got into the younger part of the sport.
Right.
The older part, if Jesse wins, man, he'll have 20 people come up to him and congratulate him. Me and Austin's won at Lanier. We have some of the best at Lanier come up and say, great sack, we do the same thing. You go over and you fish against the best. If you do good, you feel good about it. People's going to congratulate you, but you need to do the same because it's just, we're doing this all for, all in fairness, we're doing it for fun.
Right.
Yes, we're all competitive, but I think that's the big thing. Some of these parents, it's kind of like what you've gone through with your kid and travels basketball and all that stuff. Lord. It's the high school stuff has got into it's about who's got the most money and going to go try to buy the guides and all that stuff, and instead of teaching the kids the right way. If they teach them the right way from the learning how to fish right, learning how to do it right, as far as learning on your own. Not just learning on your own. Just doing certain things and not just buying it with your own money.
Right.
And that's what all of us done.
And I don't want to hit you here, Dalton, here in a second, because you're of that age. You just basically came out of the high school fishing thing. A couple of guys, Charlie Dick, a lot of people have an ego problem. Yes, sir. I hope you know I'm not one of them, because Lord knows we sit there and smile when everybody brings their big fish by that. Scroll up just a couple, if you don't mind there, Paul. There was a comment. Michael Cheek want to be held accountable for that. Yes, they need to do that. Bar Day, that was it. Preach. The problem is that a lot of the ones teaching, coaching know no more about the game than the anglers. And that's true. And listen, we've all been guilty of wanting to put our kids in a position to win. I know I probably have been that, but when it comes at the expense, look, a high school tournament's got 260 boats.
College,
let's
400.
Let me go back to that. So when you say teaching and the coaching, the boaters don't know no more than what the kids do. That is so true, and that's where I think the schools need to enforce a program to go over boat safety. Yeah. They don't.
Oh, they don't do
when
that.
My son started in high school, he grew up with the boats, but they do as the Georgia Bassmaster thing. They have to take a course to run the boats, but that course is nothing more than just safety stuff. I think as high school anglers and high school coaches, on their team, they need to interject something to show boat etiquette and the safety of boats on an individual basis for some of these guys.
I got you. Sounds good. Now, so you're 21, right? All right. So you're just a couple years removed from the high school fishing scene. All right. So who was your captain? Your dad?
My dad.
Your
Yeah,
dad
I was very
your
fortunate
captain?
to have a.
And that to me, listen, that's a good thing. But now, be honest, straight up. I mean, you saw kids whose dads, it was all about the win and not about the teaching and stuff. I'm sure everybody has seen it. So just coming out of that, maybe we have some kids that are watching or, college or high school. I mean, kind of give them a little bit, hey, look, guys, in hindsight, looking back, this was not right. This was, this was right. This is the way we should have done it. This is the way we didn't do it. What can you add to that conversation?
I say one of the best things that has probably helped me, and not that I was ever taught wrong, because I wasn't at all.
Right.
But as far as when I, got a boat and started fishing out on my own away from high school and away from fishing with my dad, is like fishing these bigger tournaments, Bass Opens, BFLs as a co-angler, that can teach you two things: how you want to be as a boater and how you don't want to be as a boater.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the two biggest things that I learned. And that's why I wanted to fish for a couple that I could give any advice to some of the younger people is fish as a co-angler, fish 2 or 3 years as a co-angler, because you're going to learn more than you could ever, possibly anywhere else.
Right.
You're going to for sure learn, how to act as a boater, and you're going to learn how not to act as a boater. I've seen that firsthand for sure.
Mm.
I've had a lot of good boaters, very few, I've been very lucky. But I've had, a select few, and I know a lot of people that have had that just haven't been taught that same etiquette that we're talking about.
Right. I won't go ahead right now before I forget. So there's a fella he's been going in and out of the comments named Philip Hutchinson. He is like a big trophy trout guru. So I want to go ahead and invite you back on an episode with him. Would you be willing to come on with him?
Yeah. I know he probably knows a lot more than I do, because like I said, I like bass fishing a lot.
He does too. He goes after trout with bass gear.
Yeah. Yeah. On the hooch.
So
that's a big thing.
I want to go ahead and right now, I want to set you up with him one evening. So Philip, if you're out there, I want you to be on here with Dalton. I think that'd be a hell of a show. Right there. I saw somebody say, GSA. Kurt Wehunt. Yeah, that's what it was.
Scroll up
a couple back to Kurt Wehunt. He was talking about splitting it up, 250 boats. I don't even know how the hell they do the blast off, but much less,
So we fished a high school Bassmaster, the national tournament on Kentucky Lake, and I'll never forget, there was 323 boats.
Austin and Logan went to Gunnersville and fished 330 or something.
When we fished the national championship on Pickwick.
So let's go back to Kurt Wehunt. I know you're talking about that, but here's my problem with that. You got high school anglers coming straight out of high school that in high school they don't run the boat. They don't drive the boat.
Right.
They're allowed to run the trolling motor, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
If that parent has no knowledge of teaching their kid of how to run that bass boat at 70 miles an hour, and you get a kid that comes back in there and gets a fishing scholarship, and his freshman year, you're turning over even if it's a 150, it's still 50 to 55 miles an hour. You're turning over a boat that this kid has not ran, not even a year by himself. And I see it every day. These parents are buying these kids boats, turning them loose in it, and they don't realize what they're doing in their boat.
It's definitely not a video. It's not a car.
No, it's not a car.
No, they don't handle like a car.
Until we do something, until as coaches in college,
right,
or until coaches in high school or the DNR steps in, something needs to be done about some of this. There needs to be a course taken when as a kid, or something that not just on online course. You need a personal presentation or something done for these kids to help understand what they're getting into.
Right. And I'm gonna get to here in a second, but trading 100 in New Jersey, we had to have a safety class and pass an exam to get a certificate, and then you could get a boat license.
We don't have that in Georgia.
Yeah, we do.
Do we have it now?
As far as if you're born after 98, it's like,
how extensive?
It's
it's an online course. My 14-year-old niece took it, and it's more about wearing your license.
So it needs to be more.
Yeah.
It needs to
Like
be
if you
more.
went to an actual class, like you're saying.
Gotcha. I got you. And then if you scroll on down, Kurt, he said basically not only that, but there's just too many daggum people on the lake. I mean, a 300 boat tournament's a lot. Even
Austin were
fishing.
fishing. Austin them fished a tournament in college down at Seminole, 200 plus boats, 250 because it's a bass tournament. Now bass has cut their college and high school at 250. I mean, not the actual bass tournaments.
Yeah, but
250 is still a bunch.
250 is a ton of boats, and it's all money driven. I mean, let's get real. We all know
that's exactly right.
Why it's there.
Yeah.
Well, you talking about boating ethic right there. Let's
example, Randy Haynes and Jason Lambert a few years back. That's a little different because I'm going to put that's pro guys, and they both actually found the fish, and they were fishing at two separate.
Is that when they were butting up and hitting each other?
They just happened to come there at the same time.
They come there at the same time last day, but they both fished the same hole, so that was kind of different. But I think as kids, for safety reasons, there needs to be a lot more done.
Well, like Austin just said that same thing. They both found the winning school of fish. He doesn't want you to fish it. Go back up. Where'd it go? I was reading it.
Hold on, so we'll let you read it. You can't read my song, but you can read the comments.
Well, I was just trying to see what
I'm just curious.
He was talking about fishing ethics.
It's selective,
because in the pro deals, like he said a couple of years ago at Kentucky, like you're fishing ledges,
right?
And they both found the same winning fish.
Right there's your comment right there.
And they didn't
find the winning school. If he doesn't want you to fish it, but y'all both found out, what would you do? So basically, okay, all right. So all three of you can answer this question. You pull up, you pre-fish, you know that they're there. You pull up at the same time as another angler who knows that they're there.
I think it's going to depend on the body of water. I mean, because if both of us can come to an agreement, and you should be able to, for like he said, Kentucky Lake, but they pulled up on this ledge, and the ledge is just loaded because you both sit. They were sitting side by side, and they let their egos get. It goes back to they let their egos. That what he's talking about.
And a lot of times you can tell when someone pulls up if they found that or if they're just pulling up because you're there. You have a lot of drive-by waypoints going on now in high school, BFLs, everything. There's a lot of that.
Me and Jesse were fishing at Lanier. I mean, not too long ago, the guys come by and one of us was hooked up, and you hear the beat going. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
I mean.
I've seen it on Lanier.
That's why I said it happened to us the other day.
That goes back to fishing etiquette.
So how do you? Let me ask you this: how do you handle it? You're on a spot, somebody pulls up, and they're getting in your kitchen a little bit.
It all depends on if I was there the day before and that boat was nowhere around and where he's at in the tournament.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of times I was like, hey, where are you at? What are you doing? Kind of tell me what's going on. If the guy was like, hey, you left, I caught fish after you left, or something of that nature. It's just who's there first. I mean, it's still. I've had very few run-ins. Yeah, the blast off number is a big thing. I've had very few run-ins where I've had people come in. Even in the high school tournament, you follow me, and Spencer Novum is down there. I had two gentlemen. We were spot locked, sitting on a place. And they watched Spencer and Owen catch a few fish. And I had two gentlemen come in and kept getting closer and closer. And finally, I just said, hey, guys, they're fishing, trying to win a big tournament. Can you mind giving them the space? I said, we'll be done at 3:00. You can do whatever you want to here with it.
Right.
And those guys, I think if you talk to them, a lot of times they'll move on. They'll be like, okay, I get it. If it's a fellow competitor, just try to work something out. Both of you are there,
Right. I got
if he sees you, if he sees you catching fish and he wasn't there the day before, then then I got a problem.
And it goes back to these how many people per tournament is there in it? I mean, if you get on a lake and you got 250 boats, you're gonna be fishing with somebody, against somebody, behind somebody, in front of somebody. And I mean, it happened to us in the BFL. I pull up to a place, I'm like, I want to go fish there, and I pull up and you see a boat leaving, you like, do I really stop? I mean, you just don't. It's nothing really you can do about it.
Right.
I mean, when you put that many boats on a body of water, you're gonna fish beside somebody.
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I like it. Nobody likes it, but if you're going to fish with that many boats on the water, you're going to be fishing with somebody, behind somebody, or in front of somebody.
And the way I look at it too is Jesse can take a rod, reel, line, bait, tell me where to go, and I can take that exact thing, and I may not be able to catch him like Jesse can.
Right.
Or I can pull in behind somebody, throwing the exact, and it just all depends.
It's also timing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna one more question. This is the one I want to go, and then I'm gonna close it up. We got a lot to Hell, we probably could have another episode down the road the way you guys talk so easily. But Charlie Dick, he's got a question. How do you feel about somebody pushing a pleasure fisherman off a spot? All right, so you got a guy there. Maybe you're fishing a big money tournament, and you got a guy there with his son. He's throwing live bait on your spot or something like that. Just how do you handle that? We'll go from you from the professional side.
First, I ask before I go in. I ask, I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I fish here?" But if the guy says, "No, I'd rather not," or something like that, I always move on. I mean, if he's sitting there with live bait, and he's got just as much right to that water as you do.
Okay,
He bought his fishing license and he bought his boat. He was there, and
he was there.
It sucks. I've been there. I've seen that happen.
Right.
And it's not a fun way to be. But I mean, that goes back to where if you learn to pattern fish, you don't have that problem very often.
Gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. How about you?
Kind of the same thing. I had a similar experience on the nationals at Pickwick.
And I meant to tell you that. What did you finish in the FLW Nationals in high school? Fourth nationally.
Yes.
Out of 300 something.
Out of 300 something boats. So you kind of know what you're doing.
That a lot to do with my dad as well. That goes
good.
back to getting to the high school, getting taught right.
Charlie, I'm sorry about that, man. He's seen tournament guys do that. I hope not on the electric side, and if so, I hope it wasn't one of ours.
The experience that I've had, and there's been plenty, good and bad, but one that just really stands out. It goes back to being able to finish that well in that tournament. It's like a 4-day tournament. It's kind of weird how they have it all set up, but the weight's 0 about halfway through. But we pulled up to a place that we've been fishing all 3 days, and there's a local sitting there. And the only thing you can do is pull up and be like, "Hey, tell them your situation, where you're sitting, what you're fishing for," and they can either tell you yes or they can either tell you no. And a lot of the times, especially if it's a local, they're fun fishing. They're not fishing tournament. They'll work with you. I mean, in this particular situation, we pull up, tell the guy what's going on. This has been our starting hole the last 3 days, and he's like, "Look, I just caught 2 big ones. I'll tell you what I caught them on, and I'm gonna leave." He said, "Go win." And you're gonna have people like that, and you're gonna have people that are not like that, and that's just the way that it goes.
We were fishing at Eufaula just back the last week of January, and we pull up, and these crappie fishermen pull up, and they got live bait, and they're looking for crappie, but they're fishing for whatever catch they. I mean, they're fishing for whatever bite that bait, and they pull up, and he's on one side of this place we're fishing, and I'm probably 10 boats away from him fishing the other side, and these crappie boats just start coming tighter and tighter. Every time he caught a fish, they just get tighter and tighter. I mean, what do you do? I mean, there's nothing you really can do.
That goes back to Benji saying he has that on film. That tournament was actually filmed on TV on the Pursuit channel.
Gotcha.
So you can actually go back and watch that as well.
I got you. All right, guys. So we've been going 2 hours. That's generally, I'm old, and I know couple of my guests are old, so that's about our bedtime. So we try to.
My bedtime was 2 hours.
I know. Listen, the only night I stay up late, honestly, is Tuesday and Thursday nights. I'm in bed early every other night. So, I'm gonna cut it off. We're gonna end this. I want to say this. I'll get to you, Dalton, here in a second. I want to say this about Jesse. I want to give you a second, real quick, to again. Give a little shout out to your league and what's coming up and like where the people can find you because we can watch this tournament live.
Yes, so March 11th through the 13th we'll be at Lake Eufaula, and they're gonna run 10 live cameras down there. So it's the National Professional Fishing League. You can Google that and it'll take you straight to the cameras. So we're trying to get it. All the weigh-ins will be live for all 3 days, and you guys can come down to Eufaula, Alabama, and watch the weigh-in. We'll have they're doing a live pull-through weigh-in all 3 days, and then like I said, we'll have 10 cameras each day live on guys fishing down there. So everybody come out and join or watch on TV.
They got 3 good commentators too. You got
our commentators. Our commentators are going to be.
You got Luke Duncan, which already he's already had his traveling circus.
Right.
They've been doing the live feed for years. And then you got that Fat Cat Newton.
And we got David Dudley. We just picked up Dudley, so we
all
know those 3 guys.
Let them know if I need to fill in.
I think David Dudley and Luke Duncan's going to be the main commentators. I think I heard Fat Cat was going to be out on the water doing commentating. So
okay,
going to be a lot of that going on. So going to be a lot of interesting stuff. So we're we're not only going there. I mean, there's 6 tournaments across the country, so you can follow us all year long.
You can answer that question right there. Are you on Instagram, Daniel?
Yeah, it's Dalton, but
listen, he threw me off. He said, Daniel. Listen,
okay.
hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I called you Dennis all day before you got here. So there you go. So Dalton.
Yeah, and I don't post nowhere near as much as I should. I know that's kind of unbelievable to be as young as I am, but I don't really get crazy into it. You probably see more on there about me and my girlfriend than you will fishing.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah,
we done found sunshine.
it's
Boy, I found sunshine.
That's
Go ahead.
That's where I've lost my partner.
Yeah, sunshine will kill you, son. Go ahead.
It's Dalton _tank 4.
Yes, I will. Okay, all right. So yeah, and again, but what I want to say real quick, you Rob, you guys really flow real good when we have these conversations like that, and I enjoy both of you being there. But I know that there's people behind the scenes that help make all this stuff possible for you. So let's give you a couple moments just to kind of acknowledge them.
Yeah, I got a couple people I need to thank. Cody Parker with Elite Response down there in Nelson, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any water problems or need some pack outs or something, be sure to give those guys a call.
Right.
Berkeley and Abu Garcia, check out all their baits. They got a good line of hard baits, soft baits, the rod, Abu Garcia, their rods, their reels, got a lot of good stuff in there. So be sure to check those out. Hammond's Fishing. Everybody knows Hammond's. Go in Hammond's. They got about anything you need in there.
Mm-hmm.
Go in there and check those guys out. And Dave's Custom Lures up in LJ. Small guy. I know a lot of you guys probably buy from him already, but Dave makes a lot of custom stuff: jigs, spinner baits, buzz baits. Shaky heads. I use exclusively his shaky head. So
Buy them by the 100.
I buy them by the 100. So
Gotcha, okay.
Dave's a real nice guy. Just a small guy, works out of a little place like Danny does. So. And also come give Danny a shout. He's got a lot of good stuff in here.
There you
Appreciate
go.
him having us on the last 2 weeks.
No, listen, I enjoy it because the reality is that we've been able to sit down and we did a 2-hour show, and the only thing I had written on my notebook was to make sure I talk about the sponsors and the stuff going on. But I didn't have a single question written down about what we were going to talk about fishing wise, because it's just like it almost is just like if we were sitting in front of a fireplace or at a campfire just talking fishing. And so again, in the future, definitely, I want you guys to be kind of regulars. Especially, we'll follow you and we'll follow Rob on the BFL, just because you're local and we can talk about it. And y'all can be here and be home in 10 minutes from here. It don't take you long to get home.
It doesn't take long.
Now, you young man. Now, Philip Hutchinson down there, that joker's he's a whiz, but I think you can hang with him. So,
I don't know.
Listen,
he's in a little different ball game on the trout.
No, y'all both catch trophy trout, and you like to do bass fishing and stuff like that. But he is not the trout fisherman that the stereotypical where. Oh, the bass fishing guy is bad. You guys could talk some serious lingo in here. So you're pretty cool with coming in and doing the show with him, because I think that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And again, who do you work with? Who do you
I
work
work with Flyfish Blue Ridge.
Okay.
It's a small company. We have our own private water. We don't have a shop. We don't really get into. I actually met a guy named Gene Rakowski back probably 6 years ago. He really kind of took me under his wing and kind of just let me pretty much, look, this is mine and your business. Showed me a lot about fly fishing. Not that I didn't, already do it, but just really kind of trusted in a young person like not a lot of people would. And it's kind of been bumpy. He actually passed away about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So as far as the business going, it's getting back. His daughter's running it. So that's been kind of tough on a lot of people, but yeah, if you want to come up and catch a trophy trout, just
are they brown trout, rainbow trout?
We have browns, rainbows, and
our brook trout still. Remember,
yeah.
When I first moved here in Dawsonville, we have 5,500 feet on the Amicalola, big Amicalola Creek. Actually, on the forks where little Amicalola Creek, big Amicalola Creek come in, and it actually makes Amicalola River.
Yeah.
And when I first moved there in the 80s, I could go in any little pocket, and I could catch my limit 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're catching more stock trout, but you do catch. I haven't been trout fishing down there in years, but my neighbor next door, she loves to trout fish, and she'll catch these big ones, So I just didn't know. I know back in the day when I did trout fish a lot, when I was more of a kid, me and my best friend Daryl, we would go and get, going in the mountains a little bit and catch the brook trout. And they were real good fun. I really be honest with you, where a big canoe is. I mean, Wildcat, they call it the Wildcat track. There's several big waterfalls and stuff back there. We'd have to walk pretty good ways or ride our motorcycles back then.
Back in the day
in the 80s, and you'd ride back in there, and I mean, you catch them nice brook trout that had a lot of color.
And there's still that. You kind of got to go back in there and find them. But like with what Philip does, there's the chances that definitely more wild fish than versus what I'm doing on the piece of water that I'm at. Now when they spawn, they'll come up, but and the way that I'm in on it is don't get me wrong, I like catching wild fish and everything like that. I have nothing against that or either way of it, but I'm more on I want to show somebody the sport. I want to watch them. Right. I want to watch that 8-year-old kid that's never fly fish catch his first trout.
Are you fishing with just a live worm? Or
no, it's we're fly fishing.
Still fly fishing
with artificial flies, stuff like that.
But because he knows what's there, it's easier to put him on it and teach him the enjoyment of that. So hey, listen, real quick, what water do you got on Dalton?
It's Big Creek. It's on Asker Road in Blue Ridge. It's it feeds into the Upper Toccoa. So it's about a mile from where the Upper Toccoa it meets together there. So we get some fish that come from there and down Big Creek, but it's spring fed, so we get pretty cold water year round.
Gotcha.
Philip Hutchinson, the Amicola is year round, but I live up around the upper end of it, and it's all surrounded by the Dawson Forest Wildlife Management, and it's hard to get to unless you get through some private land.
You gotta go through Rob's yard.
Rob's land.
You gotta go through Rob's yard. Rob shoot you. All right, so anyway, you shoot. Don't lie. Rob will shoot you.
I would. My daddy
might shoot you.
My daddy's getting senile.
Yes, right. Okay, so anyway, you'll come back if you don't mind and get with him. I'm gonna set that up with you. And again, Jesse, best of luck on your National Professional Fishing League.
Thank
you. Now we've got somebody to pull for here.
Yeah,
it's always nice to have somebody to pull for. Rob, I just love you because you're my buddy. I love you, and you make a hell of a barbecue.
And you sing to me.
I do sing to you.
If Jesse can finish in the top 5, we may just have to bring the barbecue and just go down up here.
Let's do that. We'll do that.
And one more thing before we go.
Are you going to come eat the homemade barbecue?
Yeah, it's good. He's got top barbecue.
I just want to thank Benji Winkler as well with Tricks and Custom Baits. He helps me a lot.
Benji?
Yeah.
If I didn't know you knew Benji, I wouldn't let you on the show.
I noticed you have his baits in here, so come check him out over here. Check Benji out on Facebook. He's a super, super good dude. He helps me out a lot. Another one of those guys that kind of trusted in a young person, and I'd like to thank him a lot as well.
There you go, absolutely. All right, guys. So listen, we appreciate. We're gonna. We didn't go long. It's 2 hours and 11 minutes long. All the old folks have already gone to bed. I can tell that. But again, for those of you hanging around and for those of you that are watching this later, we appreciate you very much for spending your time with us and watching the show here at Fish North Georgia. Again, I don't even want to know what the comments you guys are laughing at. I can't even imagine. But hey, listen, I'm going to go through all our social media again real quick. We got Facebook. We got the Fish North Georgia page. We got the Fish North Georgia group page. The group page is a little more interactive. Make sure you follow both on YouTube. You can follow us at Fish North Georgia, and make sure you subscribe and hit the icon notification or whatever, so that you'll get, or the what is it, the bell now? Is it still a bell? All right, we're still at a bell. So click the bell so that you can be notified of any future content. Follow us on Instagram at Fish North Georgia. Follow us on TikTok. That's a new thing that Josh, listen, my guy Josh he's a wizard at TikTok. He's figuring this stuff out, and he's super good at it. So check us out on TikTok at Fish North Georgia, and on Twitter, Fish North Georgia GA. All right. And again, we appreciate you guys doing this. Paul, did I miss anything today? He's behind the camera. Am I good? We're good. All right, Paul. Huh? Paul says I'm solid. So we're going to end this episode. Again, thank you, Paul, for learning how to do this so that you are a solid replacement for when Josh has got to go film the world. So, guys, we appreciate you. We'll see you Thursday night with Jonathan Farmer. He's going to be back. He's been here a couple of times, but I'm actually going to let him have just his own say.
I'm going to lose my son.
Are you going to kill your son?
Yeah. I want to thank Austin Young for teaching me how to fish.
That's your son, right?
Yeah.
We want to thank Austin.
Him and Colin have taught me how to bass fish.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right. Listen. I know, Austin. I'm not even gonna say nothing to him. Like, there's nothing you can do. You did your best. You did your best. You did the best you could do, and that's up to God.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. The guys say, listen,
If you see his hair, you know it's a
is he need a
disaster.
haircut? Trey needs one that too. It's my God, what's wrong with the kids?
His hair is that big around.
It's that big around, and his head ain't but this big around.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. But guys, seriously, we love our kids. But yeah, we'll pray for Austin and Colin. They need a little bit more. But Thursday night, Jonathan Farmer. We're actually going to talk Lake Notley. Lord knows I've had him on 3 times to talk Lake Notley, and all 3 times we've not. So we are going to talk the largemouth, very underrated largemouth reservoir, Lake Notley here in North Georgia. But guys, we appreciate you guys. We love you. We'll see you Thursday.